All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that we will. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right, and I want to preface this by saying, I was just speaking with this so-called Christian that just walked by, an Edomite basically, but and it's I always say this is kind of funny and ironic how, at least these Edomites, they'll come by and they'll stop and they'll ask, now, granted, discerning the spirit, he might have just been trying to peep what I was doing out here, and you know what I'm saying, because he said he's seen me out here quite a few times already, but I don't know what his whole ordeal was, but you know, um, they might be a little bit uncomfortable wanting to call the police or whatever, but like I said, a lot of the times the police across the street, whatever, they don't really give a damn like that. But as far as peeping into some of these things, I got to give them a little bit of credit, all right? Whether it was sincere or if it wasn't sincere, because, and speaking of which, we got Jake coming down the other side of the block, look like. But it's just spiritual because of the fact of, you have Esau that'll come, stop by and inquire about the things that we have going on. Whereas Jake, Jake just keep it moving, man. Jake is on the other side, and Jake is just like to the point to, you good to go, man. Jake is on the other side to where they just like not inquisitive about a lot of things. They'll see us out here on the highways and the byways and not really ask anything about what's going on, or they'll turn their ways and go around, beat around the bush. And which, in fact, that was actually an Edomite who just rolled by. But hey, at least there's another one, right on in the same path. But like I said, Jake, they'll go above and beyond. All right, but hey, we've been out here for them to tell them about these things. But going back to the the so quote unquote Christian that just walked by, you know. Another thing, I wish I would have caught it on camera, but I was in the midst of setting up and everything. But as far as not casting your pearls before swine and things like that, obviously he wasn't out here for that. And you got to be discerning of the spirit, man. All right, hey, we just out here preaching the word, reading the Bible, but hey, he came up and asked about what was going on. All right, and I gave him a brief little rundown about the times, the beginning of sorrows, the times that we're coming into now, and building up faith, and how you're not getting all that, this being told into the churches, and we out here, teaching the 100% truth. All right. But again, there's a spirit that's in them versus, obviously we have spirits that are contrary to one another. But when it comes to this here word, man, like I said, these Edomites, they'll come up and they'll listen. And whether they like it or whether they, it's bitter to them, we tell them certain things. Yeah, we could tell them, hey, y'all Edomites, y'all going into captivity. They might just shake their head, all right, and just keep it moving, and don't want to start arguing and fighting or whatever. Now, granted, sometimes these Edomites do call the police, but then they'll get down the block and they'll go do all that stuff, But when it comes to Jake, man, Jake will sit there and argue with you, fight with you about this and fight with you about that, man. Like I was just telling the guy over here, I was like, yo, man, like, about, Matthew 24, the wars, the rumors of wars, the plagues, the pestilence, and all these different things. We're in the last days and everything else like that, man. All right, and, these churches aren't telling you these things, and he, proclaimed to be a Christian, and he agreed with me. And then, as I was getting a little further into some of these things, he's like, oh, yeah, I agree with you, and then proceeded to just walk on off. All right, but it's funny to me about how, the difference between Jake and Esau when it comes to this here word, man. All right, Esau, whether they want to hear it or they don't want to hear it, they'll at least sometimes come by and then, cordially walk away. Whereas Jake, it feel like you pulling teeth with their ass, man. All right, they want to scream, shout, and do all kind of crazy shit that be going on and everything else like that. Or they'll ride way on the other side of the block, you know what I'm saying, just so they don't have to come across you or whatever, or, make a damn U-turn if they see you down the block, And, it's funny, I was speaking to somebody last night, which Lord will, I'll get a little bit into this because I was going into some of these things, and it goes with the spirit, that I want to get into with these wars and rumors of wars and things like that. But they was talking about, I was talking to somebody, and they was talking to somebody else about, basically the end stuff that's coming to pass, right? This destruction and things like that, And they was like, well, I don't think, what did they say? They said something to the extent of, I don't think God would do all that. But basically, let me read this here precept because this is a lot of the things that they always say. It's predicated on this. This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 3. It says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. So the premise of what this person was saying was something akin to that. Oh, these things ain't coming in my lifetime. But they said something like, oh, I don't think God would allow this to happen, or God would do this and God would do that. And then the person that was talking to them, somebody newly coming into the faith, you know how it is. It'd be sweet in your mouth. You'd be wanting to talk and tell everybody. And it was like, oh, how it's sad how these people don't understand these things. And it was like, oh, I think God, first their conversation started out as, oh, I believe in the Bible and everything else like that. So the other person was like, well, do you know about this here destruction that's going on and these things that they got going on and these plans they got for, going into their little bunkers and everything, because again, they just now coming up into this here truth, all right, getting this here understanding. And they talked to the other person and they were saying like, oh, I don't think God would have done all these things like that, or I don't think God would do all these things. So they brought out like, yo, if you ever read like, Revelation, you know about Revelation? Like, oh no, I didn't want to read Revelation. I didn't quite get it. It was scary and this and that. And so I told the person, I'm like, see, this is why you can't just talk to and listen to everybody that's speaking, because look, on one note, they said that they believe in the Bible, and then they said that they don't believe that God would do certain things like this, or like the scriptures say, oh, those days are far off, all right, but then you really question them about the Bible, they're like, well, I ain't never really read that. Like, so, again, and I gave them this here precept to go along with that. I gave, give me 1 second. This is John 3:19. It said, and this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone that doth evil hated the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. And I was telling them, I was like, look, they'll want duck and dodge these things because they don't want to come to the truth, man. They don't want to come to the light of these things because they know they'll have to make a change. So they'll say certain things, oh, I don't believe God would do such and so forth. And as you Israelites, this is how a lot of things, I've realized this is how we get a lot of our learnings. We have certain sayings and things like that where people, they'll just run with these things. Like, for instance, give you just on a carnal note, as a person that's always wanting to have their own business and start these things and stuff like that. And people say, man, you're going to get your own business and get it all legal and everything else like that. You're going to have to pay taxes. Taxes are going to be expensive, and business insurance is super expensive. You just do that shit under the table. When you actually look into it, man, it's like, well, actually, I get paid for this taxes, so like I actually make money on that. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as business insurance, my business insurance is less than my car insurance. So, but if I would have been in that same mindset, just listening to Jake, and these Jakes is telling you these things, have never looked into these things a day in their life, man. But they're always been confined to these certain mind states of certain things. So the same way, it's like never coming to this here truth. All right, never looking into these things because, hey, it's too scary. I'd be having bad dreams about this stuff and so on and so forth. We'll have people tell us these things, all that stuff in the Bible, oh, it's all fake, it's all fairy tales. And, and I was telling this person, I was like, look, man, only low-level people don't believe that this is true. I like the higher levels of education that you have, the more and more you understand that this is true. Whether you want to follow it or not is a different story, but you all know. I'm like, yo, your top brain surgeons know for a fact that there was a intelligent design that designed brains, man, because they can be like, this is too complex for this just to evolve like this, man. All right, people from that look into so-called like space and everything else like that, they know that like, well, the Earth is perfectly positioned where we wouldn't freeze or we wouldn't melt from the sun. This just didn't happen like this, man. How come all these other places don't have no water or nothing else like that? All the things that we need to survive is right here, man. All right, historians, man. The real historians and people that look into history know that all the places in the Bible are real. A low-level person will read the Bible like, look, they talk about a place called Persia. I look at a map, ain't no place called Persia on the goddamn face of the earth. Like, yeah, but see, look at a real historian. Look at the Persian Gulf. Persia was a real place. They just changed the name of it. It's now called Iran. You just wouldn't know nothing about it because you low level. But yeah, you got Jake talking about, I want some Persian rugs and this and that, but don't believe that Persia ever existed, man. All these people in the Bible, they all fairy tale, they all fake people. None of them are real in this and that. Like, yo, man, but just look them up. They're all actually real. Real historians know that all these things actually happened. All these people was actually there. So, like I said, the higher levels of education that you have, all right, you know that all this is actually true, man. No matter what you're really into and everything else like that, these so-called these religious things, I would say, for lack of a better term, these people that's into like dealing with spirits and witchcrafts and things like that, they know that there's a higher power, man. They just choose to do the things that they're doing on their side. But like I said, like these elite bankers and stuff like that, man. Hey, man, what do you think they go out there and they do their sacrifices too, man? They'll say that they don't follow the Most High, but they doing the same thing on the other side, man. So only low-level people that'll sit there and deny these things, and that's Jake to a T, man. They don't want to come to the light because they know that their deeds are evil. They'd rather just be on a surface level. I'd rather just not know about these things. And as the scriptures say, man, they're going to get caught like a thief in the night, man. All right, because they want to be drunkards. They want to be staggering in the daytime, more or less to say, man. All right, they don't want to be vigilant. They don't want to be watching, man. They also say this here, right here. Let me read this, and then we'll get into some other precepts I wanted to grab to go along with this. But this is... Lock here. Well, let me start over here at the top. Isaiah 30:1, it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin into sin." All right, let me read the next verse too. It says, "They'll walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked of my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Egypt, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Egypt, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion." So you have scenarios to where, our people, they'll take advice, they'll listen to certain things, they'll go and find all kind of information, but the last thing they want to do is find the true information of the Lord, man. The last thing they want to do is go and find out what's actually in the scriptures, man. They'll run from those things, but then they'll go and try to find and seek all kind of other information. I had something that happened, in my family recently, where a relative, pretty much got injured real bad, and bad things was happening to them. Long story short, and then now all of a sudden, they want to call and contact me and ask about some certain scriptures about this and scriptures about that and so on and so forth. And I told them, look, man, this is like car insurance, man. This is basically around like it's either on the day or the day after the Day of Atonement. And I was like, look, man, this is not like something like it's like car insurance, man. You don't go and get car insurance after the accident happened, man. You want to get car insurance before the accident takes place, man. Or health insurance or whatever. You don't want to go and try to get health insurance the day that you need the surgery, all right, or after the surgery is already done, all right. You want to go in and stack this up beforehand, man. Go and get your relationship with Yahweh and Yahushua, man, before these things, man. Don't come calling and asking me about these things. Like, look, I mean, I can give you some stuff to so-called comfort you with the scriptures, but that's not going to do you no good, man. All right, in reality, there's a way bigger picture than these things like that, man. You got to understand that the Most High might have brought judgment upon you for these different things, man. Oh, well, God might use certain things to bring people into the truth. Yeah, true enough, but at the same time, if you wasn't seeking the Lord beforehand, I can give you a lot of other scriptures in contrary to that, where the Lord said he was going to laugh and mock when your calamities come upon you, man. All right, well, he said he's going to bring his delusions upon you because when he called, you didn't answer. He was going to number you all to the sword because you ignored his callings and things like that. So, hey, man, the Lord could have been calling you the whole time, but yet you want to keep putting off from day to day to the Lord. Now you in a bond. Now, I always say that, man. Everybody, even the biggest atheists, whenever judgment come collapsing down upon them, hey, it's time to convert at that point. Oh, y'all, God, pray for me. Y'all do this and y'all do that. Nah, man, that's Jake to a T, man. All right? We're at the end all, be all of these things, man, where you should be taking every step that you take, very carefully, man. All right? But you have Jake that's still out here just wilding and doing whatever they want to go and do. And when you try to bring out the truth unto them, they want to be, they want to ignore these things, man. Until that time of judgment comes down upon them, then they want to start seeking the Lord, man. Let me finish reading this here precept in Isaiah 30, verse 9. It says, "This is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord." And, like going back to what I was saying about this person that was speaking about, Revelation, basically the end times and things like that was going into, they were saying, well, yeah, the Bible good. I love the Bible. I love hearing all these things, But then when certain subjects came up in the Bible, all right, they was like, well, I don't think God would say that. I don't think God would do all that kind of stuff. They had their perception of what they think of, they make up God in their own mind. And how do they do this is going back to not wanting to come to the light. They fashion God like unto themselves into their own fashion. So I don't think God would destroy me. I would think God would let me sit there and just die and go to my grave and then destroy the world after me. They've always said, hey, since our fathers went to sleep, the same things is going on. So the same thing is going to go on. We're going to live. We're going to live it up. Then we're going to die. And then, hey, it's not going to happen in my lifetime. Maybe your lifetime, but not mine. I'm going to escape all these things. It's basically what they're saying, man. All right? They don't want to hear the truth about the matter of the things that's coming to pass, especially in these here times, man. Going back to the Christian guy the so-called Christian guy that walked by about, coming into these different things, a question of like, how come they not telling you about these things in these churches out here, man? You know what I'm saying? You got all these churches up and down the damn block in every city, all right? And then what are they telling you about this here judgment? They over there singing songs and passing around collection plates, and they ask, why am I not in the church? I'm like, well, hey, man, look at what's up. This is the church, first of all, but how come in these churches they're not telling you about these things, man? You talking about being saved in salvation. I'm like, yo, the whole world right now, is crying out to be saved from these plagues that's coming on the earth, and guess what? It's going to get worse than these things. The scripture said these are just the beginning of sorrows, man. All right, times is going to get way worse than these things, but why wouldn't you want to come to the light? Why wouldn't you want to seek out the Lord while he may be found, while the doors are still open, man? Why do you want to wait to the next big major calamity and everything else like that, man? When the pandemic started and everything was all locked down, man, there was a lot of people so-called seeking God at that point in time. I can guarantee you on their little Facebooks, Instagrams, and everything else like that. A bunch of little so-called scriptures was going on. Everybody was all holier than thou at that point in time, man. All right, but then as things starting to lighten up a little bit, they went right back on out to their wickedness, man. All right, you know, it's always in the times of people's calamities when these things so-called bring them to start seeking the Lord. But hey, man, we've been out here telling you from the beginning of all these things, man. Repent, man, repent. But yet and still our people, they don't want to repent, man. Let me finish this off. It says, Isaiah 30:9, this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh, would say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. It says, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path of the Holy One of Israel, to cease from before us. So again, they say prophesy not unto us right things, prophesy unto us smooth things, man. So going back into this here conversation, you know, oh, I don't think God would have these things to happen to us and everything else like that, you know, and talking to the Edomite dude that's walking by, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, well, when how you say, the dark sayings start coming out and the judgments start coming out, all of a sudden, nah, I don't want to hear all that, I got to get down the block, man. All right, all of our people are always like this in this here mind state, man. Whenever the truth start coming out about the judgments and things going on, hey, man, it's a quick scurry to get on up the block because, again, hey, they don't want to be face to face with these things, man. Face to face to their reality, man. Again, they just think in their minds, hey, I'm gonna just die a quick and fast death, man. I'm gonna just keep living it up, and they think that in the back of their minds, the least I know about it, hey, I won't be judged for these things. Like, hey, man, the Most High's not stupid to these things. Like, well, hey, God, look, I ain't know no better, so you can't judge me like that. Hey, ain't nobody tell me. No, but he knows that you over here plugging your ears, man. He knows that. Matter of fact, let me grab this real quick. I quoted it. He knows that you're over there plugging your ears and everything else like that. But let me read. Let me come back and read that. Let me read this. Isaiah 66:4 says, I will also choose their delusions and bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer, and when I spake, they did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and chose that which I delighted not. And so, hey, when the Lord called, our people didn't want to hear. They didn't want to hearken. They wanted to just keep doing whatever they was doing and kept, you know, turning a blind eye unto the Lord, man. All right, so it says, I will choose their delusions and bring their fears upon them. So that's got to be a sad state where, you know, in the back of your mind, man, I don't want to. And I was telling this person about this the other day, while these people said that they was afraid. They made all these excuses to why they can't read the Bible, or they don't want to inquire about the truth in the Bible and everything else like that. I was like, you know what? This is how it all goes down. You know, we just read about it in John 3:19. They don't want to come to the light because their deeds were evil. All right, but when people have to come to these realizations about the things in the Bible, man, all right, then they know that they have to have that discipline. They know that they have to make a change, or at the end all be all, they're gonna be responsible for these things, man. You know, for a small example, for so long, you know, Jake been told and been under the belief that, you know, let's just say the law, statutes, commandments is done away with, so now we can eat pork and everything else like that. But if you clearly show them that in the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, they'll tell you, oh, well, you know, and they come to that conclusion. Now they have to go in the back of their mind. It's like, you know what? It's either A, I have to stop eating this here pork because I know better now, or I'm going to get judged, or would I rather not know about none of this stuff and just keep eating the pork because it's easier to live after the flesh. So this is the predicament that they get in when it comes to all of these here judgments. Oh, man, the Lord finna do all these things, especially if they understood the prophecies that's going on right now and the times that we're living in right now and everything else like that. They would have to change their life, man. All right, they would have to change the ways and the things that they was doing. But lo and behold, I mean, how many people you ever see that get stricken with illnesses, let's say from drinking alcohol, too much alcohol, and they got, liver problems and things like that, smoking too many cigarettes, now they got like lung cancer and things like that, or heart problems. And as soon as they get their little cure or whatever, or let's just say cancer or something, they go through their little cancer treatments, chemo and everything else like that. As soon as that's all fine and done, you know, before they all scared and shaking in their boots, and then all of a sudden they get right back on out there doing the same thing that they was doing, man. All right, it's only but for a short amount of time, man, because Jake don't want to make an actual change, man. You know, and that's part of repenting, man, is actually making a genuine change, man. All right, being sorrowful and turning yourself around, man. But see, again, like I said, Jake don't want to come to the light because their deeds are evil, man. They know that their deeds are evil, and they don't want to be how do I say, have that put back up into their face, because hey, at the end all be all, it's like, you know what? I don't want nobody to tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. You know, they want to live after the flesh. All right, but hey, living after the flesh, you know, is enmity against the Most High, man. You can't serve the Lord and be living after the flesh, man. All right, because look, the flesh is not bound by what? The laws, man. All right, you know, and you just you do whatever you want to go and do. There's no discipline in that. How you gonna be a disciple of the Lord and you don't have no discipline over your own spirit, man? So hey, these people they have these things into their mind states, and they want to keep reacting the way that they do, and they want to, how do I say, make the word far from them. All right, they want to keep pushing these things off because again, they don't like the scripture say, they don't want to come to the light. They don't want to be exposed for their wickedness. They don't want to have to be able to change something in their life, man. All right, all these different things that they have going on is a reflection of who they really are on the inside, man. Because they don't want to come to the light because their deeds were evil, man. And the inside of these people, no matter how good that they are, that's the real trying of people, man. And again, you know, I had to break this down to, like I said, this person is newly coming into the truth. I had to break this down to him, like, hey, man, you're going to lose a lot of loved ones in this here thing, man. You're going to start really seeing the spirit of these people, man. Yeah, I know that you see these folks that say that they love God, they go to church, they've been all into the Bible about this, they got a Bible on their nightstand, they got a Bible in their windshield, they got a Bible in everywhere they got a Bible at, right? But yet still, when you start bringing these things out to them, what is the first thing that they want to do? Oh, I don't want to hear about that. Or they, like I said, they'll start agreeing with you at first. Oh, yeah, I love this, I love that. But then you start actually going into the scriptures, man. That's how you really weed these people out, when you really start going into these scriptures, man. All right, just like the so-called Christian guy that was up here, man. You know, right before I was about to start opening up, you know, I was like, well, let me read you a scripture real quick. Oh, well, no, I believe you. Great job. Keep up the faith and keep it moving, man. So, hey, man, you know, he was a Christian while we was just going back and forth and talking. But as soon as the words start coming out and the scriptures start coming out, now you got to get up the block now. All right, so this is a true, hey, the scriptures say, let me see if I can find that real quick. Oh, wait, let me hold this precept. Hang on a second. Salakia. I know it's in Hebrews. One second. All right. Oh, actually, it's in 4. Salakia. Yep. 7, 6, 6. Hebrews 4 and 12. It says, Hebrews 4 and 12, it says, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of thoughts and an intent of heart. All right. So going into that, man, think about it, man. You know, when you start going into this here word, into these scriptures, man, it really show forth to who these people are, man. All right, like I said, you can really reveal these people who say, oh yeah, I'm a believer, this and that. Start opening up pages, man, and start, well, scriptures say right here, then you'll start seeing it, man. Hey, look, because at that point in time, it's not what you think and your so-called interpretation of these things. A lot of these things is just flat, straightforward when you start reading them out, man. All right, some things is just, it's a clear, how do I say, a clear cut, you know, to certain things, man. The Lord will say, you know, let's just say, you know, well, we can't bring that out because then they'll cut the stream and everything. They'll be like, you know, you can't be talking about that. But hey, to these moles, man, they tell you exactly what you're supposed to be doing to these moles, even though that we're not doing these things to these folks right now. But you know, they tell you basically that these things are an abomination, man. There's no cutting around that. Even though you know, there's an argument saying, well, they talking about that these men ain't supposed to be doing this to these little boys instead of other grown men. They're like, bro, that's, see, again, this is, let's read it, what it say, man. All right, but like I said, you know, they can have their so-called interpretations of what these things are versus when you actually open up these books and you read the words out of the books, man. All right, so let's read that again, because again, it shows forth their true spirit, man. As soon as you start going into these scriptures and you start bringing, now you can go back and forth to what you, well, hey, the Bible say, and people will go back and forth with you on that for a while, man. But when you like, hold on, let me grab a scripture real quick, and you start opening up and turning these pages, man, that's when they start getting cut. So it says Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful. All right. So, hey, man, it's quick and powerful. You know what I'm saying? It says, and sharper than any two-edged sword. So, well, let me read it. It says, piercing even the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrows. All right. So basically, hey, man, you cut down to the soul, man. All right. Because look, you don't even have to come to an agreement with certain things and everything else like that, man. You could be like, let's say, for instance, you done went and took the chip, right? And we go into Revelation, what is that, 14 and 9, I believe it is. Let me make sure before I quote that. I believe it's Revelation 14 and 9, right? Yeah. Let me read this just for an example, all right? Because of the fact that, like, you know, the word is sharper than a two-edged sword. So look, we don't have to sit here and question you. Hey, did you get this here chip? You know what I'm saying? Did you get the MOTB? Yeah, you're going to get put to death and so on and so forth, man. And, you know, people could be like, well, how you know I got the chip? You can't see the chip and this and that and so on and so forth, man. Hey, man, we don't have to go through all those things. That is all we have to do is come up and read this around you. You know what I'm saying? And then in the back of your mind, you know, you may not agree to it or whatever, but in the back of your mind, you already know. All right, so let's read this. It says, Revelation 14 and 9, it says, and the third angel followed them with a loud voice, saying, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark and his forehead or on his hand. And so as they start reading that, I'm like, fuck, man, I did, you know, it's crazy that they said all this and it's actually in my hand or whatever. You know, I received this thing. And they have to understand now. Let's say we go back to Revelation 13, all right, and we start breaking down what these words mean and everything else like that. And we start breaking down what these words mean. And then all of a sudden, you know, they understand it, like, oh, putting two and two together, this is what they're talking about. All right, now it says here in Revelation 14 and 9, and the third angel followed them. The third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his right hand or on his forehead, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the angels and in the presence of the Lamb, and their smoke. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So again, like I said, this is, or the scriptures say, this is sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even asunder the spirit and the soul, man. So you're gonna be cut to the T, because like I said, we don't have to come out and say, hey, show me your chip. Oh, you got the chip and this and that to verify. Hey, man, you could just be how do I say you know, quiet about that. And let's say you in a big crowd, right? Maybe you even watching somebody on TV. Maybe you watching this here video, man, and you hear that alone, and it's like, I don't see you. But then you know in the back of your mind, shit, I done got this, and now you cut, man. You cut all the way down to the soul, man. All right, but that's how sharp this here word is because it how do I say, put you into a scope. All right, it's like, damn, it's a precision strike, man. Yeah, it got you to a T, man. You know, and going into a lot of these things where we talk about who is who in the scriptures and everything else like that, it's got you to a direct T, you know, a description all the way down to the T, man. Oh, no, this is who this is doing these here things, man. So a lot of people don't want to hear this here truth. They say, let the Holy One of Israel cease from us, man. Tell us smooth things, prophesy unto us smooth things, because, hey, this word is very direct, man. All right, you go into these certain things. Hey, man, you take this here chip, you're going to get put to death, man. And this is the way you're going to wind up catching it, man. All right, but it's locked here. But a lot of our people like to run from these things because they want to have what they say cognitive dissonance, man. All right, they want to pretend like that. I don't know, man. All right, you know, they want to pretend like that they don't really let me see if I can find that. And give me 1 second. What's right here? Maybe it's hang on 1 second. That's not the one I wanted. Hang on. Let me try to find this other precept real quick. This one isn't it either. I could read this, but I'll just read this one instead. This is not quite what I want. It pretty much says the same thing, but and I could read quite a bit of this, but I'm gonna just get to the point here. This is Proverbs 11 and 21. Yeah, I'll just read this one. It says Proverbs 11 and 21. It says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. All right, so hey man, just because you know you want to have that cognitive dissonance and pretend like you don't know certain things that's going on, all right, doesn't mean that you're gonna escape this judgment, man. You're gonna be found, and you're gonna be you're gonna have to pay your just dues, more or less to say, man. Because Jake believed that they can just so-called cover their ears and just walk on in not to say darkness, but just walk on and just like, oh, I didn't know no better. I didn't know what was going on, man. All right. It says, though hand join in hand, all right, you want to participate in this here wickedness and things like that, man. All right, it says, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. All right, so hey, man, there's you know, hang on, let me see if there's a, let me see, is it right here? Another precept I wanted to actually grab. But nevertheless, I think it's right here. Hang on. Actually, let me look up this other one real quick. Alright. So, well, this is Proverbs 16 and 25. It says, there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So again, you know, going into these things where it's, you know, like I said, cognitive dissonance. Oh, I don't know no better. If I don't know no better about these things, then I'm not going to be judged for these things, man. But at the end all be all, man, hey, how do I say that? The Lord's going to wind up finding you and judging you for these things, man. All right. One second. Another one I want to read as well. Find it. Slovakia. Let me find this other precept I'm trying to find. Might have to look this up. Hang on. Let me just look this up. This is gonna be a little quicker, but hold on. It should be like right here. Past it. Let me look up this precept real fast. 15. Might have been 15. Hang on. What 15? I don't know why I didn't find it. Hang on. Let me go back to this real quick. Proverbs 12 and 15. Nah. Slocky. This is not what I was looking for. Hang on. Unless I'm overlooking something. Okay, okay. Well, Slocky. There's two other ones actually. $30. Alright. Boom. Alright, so this is oops. Let me read this one as first. Proverbs 21 and 2, it says, every way of man is right in his own eyes, but Yahweh pondereth the hearts. Alright. So hey, you know, going into these things, man, every man is right in his own eyes, right? They want to sit there and say that, hey, you know, well, I believe that, you know, what I'm doing or the way I'm living my life is a righteous way. Alright, but it's not according to the scripture. This is Proverbs 30 and 12. It says, there's a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. This is the one I was looking for right here. It says, and there's a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids lifted up. So, hey, going into these precepts, to the fact of the matter is, hey, man, Jake feel like in their own eyes, man, they're righteous in the things that they're doing. Oh, I don't believe that God would do these things to me. I don't believe that, I believe God will let me know about these things, man. I don't think God is like that. So they want to fashion and form a God towards themselves, man. In fact, there's that precept that says that as well, too, in Deuteronomy. Give me a second. Where they worship, let me see. Is that Deuteronomy 32? This is, they change that four-footed beast. Well, that might be Romans, but I thought it was in Deuteronomy as well too. Let me find this real quick. But ultimately, you know, you have Jake that's out here that's making up their own ways. Put it that way. All right. Might have been right here. It's actually Romans 1. And we started at 21. It says, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. All right, hey, these people, again, being pure in their own eyes, man. All right, coming to the point, oh, I don't think God would say these things. I don't think God would do these things unto us. All right, but hey, they want to be prophesied to them what the smooth things, the soft things, man. It says, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were they thankful. Salakia. I just read that. We'll read it again. It says, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like unto corruptible man, and to bird and four-footed beasts and creeping things. It says, we can read the next two verses, but the point is they changed the image of God, what God was going to be like, man, onto things that they had imagined in their own minds, man. It says, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like unto corruptible man. All right, so hey, God wouldn't do these things to me. God would be like this and God would be like that, man. But they don't understand, why would God do this and do that to these types of people? How come God don't love everybody and all these different things, man? This is your understanding of God, but then you have all these people that have a say-so about God and everything else like that, but never picked up the scriptures a day in their life, man. It's like, yo, you have an instruction manual of how to build certain things, man. Hey, look, this is how you put this here desk together. But then you so wise in your own mind, oh, I don't think that they would have made the instruction. I don't think they would have put the table together this way. I think that they would have put it together that way. Or, you know, you got how you say, ingredients to bake, like, let's say a cake or something like that. Oh, I don't think they would have put this many eggs in there. I think they would have put less eggs in there. It's going to make it too sloppy, or it's going to make it do this, it's going to make it do that. I don't think they would have had the oven up this high. I don't think that they would have cooked it for this long. All right, but then your end product is completely different than what you were supposed to be making, and you wondering why it's like that, man. It must have been something wrong with this, and then you find all these different excuses about everything else, man. Instead of like, man, maybe I didn't follow the instructions. Maybe I didn't follow the ingredients the way I was supposed to, man. Maybe I didn't know the Lord the way I was supposed to know the Lord, man. But hey, every day, you know, people make these excuses, man. They don't want to come to the light again because, wow, their deeds were evil. They'll create their own, you know what, we'll reshape these things into our own image, man. I don't think God is like that because, again, like we read earlier, the word is sharper than any two-edged sword, man. They start coming to this here scripture, they got to see it for what it's really worth. Then, oh, man, I'm over here cut, man. You know what I'm saying? You see certain people going into, you know, making it, let's say a cake or something. I think it's supposed to be done this way, that way. Then they start looking at the ingredients. They have to come to find out, man, they said they needed 3 eggs. I put in 5 eggs, man. I fucked up right here, man. You know what I'm saying? So they start thinking about these things, man. But, hey, and people are pride, man. Pride is, like Rick James said, pride is one hell of a drug. You know what I'm saying? People can't swallow their pride, man. All right? But, hey, pride come before a fall, man. All right? Going back, it says, verse 24, wherefore God gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, all right, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. So God gave them up to the lust of their own hearts, man, to keep living in the delusions that you was living into, man. All right, it says, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. All right, so they changed the truth, all right, of God into a lie, man, and started worshiping that. Let me find this in Deuteronomy chapter 32. I was going to grab. It says, certain verse I want to grab. Oh, here it is, right here. It says, let me just start at 15. It says, but Jezreel waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the power which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. All right, again, going and worshiping these, you know, changing the image of God, you know, redesigning God, you know, the way that you would see fit, man. Oh, God wouldn't care if I did this, God wouldn't care if I did that, man. All right, you know, it's part of taking accountability. Hey, we see it all day long with these women and things like that, man. It's like a damn Jedi mind trick. They can have their way a certain type of way. There was one they was bringing out. It's like, yo, if a woman can sit there and give up her rights to a child and everything else like that, let's just say whether she has an abortion, give it up for adoption, all right, or anything like she want to do to this here child, she don't have to take responsibility for it. They ask the same woman, like, yeah, I believe a woman should have the right to do all that and everything. What if a man decided he don't want to have any responsibility for that child financially? Well, no, I don't think this is. Well, hold on. How can one have responsibility but the other one don't? How come you're not holding these women accountable for the things that they're doing, man? All right? But see, you're changing the image to fit and to make you comfortable in these things so that only you benefit. But that's not how, you know, the Most High says, well, let's read that in verse 4. Deuteronomy 32:4 says, He is the rock, His work is perfect, for all His ways are judgment, a power of truth and without iniquity, just and right is He. So, hey, pure judgment, man. All right, judging in truth. All right, so, hey, man, these people over here are creating a God unto their own self that's only beneficial unto them. All right, in their minds, they can go ahead and do whatever they want to go and do, like I call it Crowley Christianity, because this is what they pretty much promote nowadays. Do thou wilt. Do whatever you want to go and do, and it just, God's going to forgive you for everything, man. Just you know, they say, just call on the name of Jesus and you'll be forgiven. So, I mean, you telling me, it fits your mold for these types of things. So, like, well, I can go out here and commit all these different sins and crimes and everything else, to sleep with whoever woman and everything. As long as I ask for forgiveness, everything is going to be fine and dandy. But what if you're on the receiving end of those things, man? What if your old lady, some dude was out there creeping on your old lady and everything else like that? Would you be wanting to forgive her? Would you be wanting to forgive him? What if somebody came and murdered your whole family? Would you be so willing to forgive them at that point in time? But when you're on the other side of the fence, you want to have all that forgiveness given unto you. But then when you on the giving, when you're on the receiving end, all right, you want justice to be served, man. All right, so the same way with the Most High, man. Hey, He's on the you're committing these sins and these abominations. You turning your back on Him and everything else like that, man. Let me continue reading in Deuteronomy 32 real quick. It says, Deuteronomy 32:16. It says, 15 again. But Jezreel waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the power which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, and abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not unto God, to gods whom they knew not, new gods that came up newly, to whom their fathers feared not. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten the power that has formed thee. It says, and when Yahweh saw it, it abhorred them. He abhorred them because the provoking of his sons and his daughters. So, hey, when the Most High is on the receiving end, you want to shape God into your own fashion. So you want to just go over there and do whatever you want to go and do to God, ignore Him, not listen to Him, put Him off from day to day and everything else like that, man. You just want to just do the worst, man. But then you want God to forgive you at any point in time. But then when the tables are turned, all right, you want God to come to your rescue and everything else like that, man. All right, let's read that in Proverbs. This is Proverbs 1. Slakia. And can really read up a little bit, but well, let me just read this kind of quick. It says Proverbs 1:22. It says, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn you at my reproof. Hey, and going into that, like I said, speaking to this here person, talking about something. Oh, they said the Bible. I love the Bible. The Bible is all good. This and that. And then you start bringing out things in the Bible. Oh, I don't think God is like that. Well, how you know? Oh, you ever read the Bible? No, I ain't never read that part of the Bible. I always stayed out of the book of Revelation. It was too much for me to handle. Well, how the hell you know what God's plan is going to be and what God's going to be doing if you decided deliberately not to read this here portion of the Bible? And again, I obviously understand what's going on, but having this conversation with somebody else, like, hey man, also reading the book of Revelation chapter 5, how the book was sealed, man. All right, and nobody was going to be able to open the seals save Yahushua, man. Then Revelation 14, how he only gave this to the 144,000 and to his elect, man. All right, so only his elect is going to be able to get these things. They sang a new song that no man can learn but the elect, man. All right, so hey, not everybody's going to get this. Not everybody's going to be seeking out this here truth, man. Not everybody's going to be on board with these things, man. But again, going back into these the ways of these people, man, they want to sit there and change, God to fit their mold, man. All right. It says, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity, and scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn you at my reproof, and behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have called and you refuse. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. So hey, when the Lord was calling for you and calling out unto you, you disregarded, man. You didn't want to hearken. You put off from day to day the Lord. All right, you kept going into what you think, changing God into your own image, man. Oh, I think I'm serving God perfectly fine. I go to church every Sunday and I put money in the tithes and the offering. I'm serving God to the best of my ability. Oh, I keep God in my heart. I got the Psalms tattooed on my arm. I got a cross tattooed on my arm and my chest. I'm serving God perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? God love me. But yeah, you are over here sinning day in and day out, man. All right, but at the end all be all, again, these people have created God into their own image, man. Oh, God will love me just the way I am. God said, come as you are. You know what I'm saying? But hey, these are these are the mindsets of our people, man. A stiff-necked, hard-headed people, man. All right. It says, because I have called, let me go back, verse 23. Turn you with my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Now, how would the Lord make his words known unto us, man? The scriptures say the Lord will do nothing but reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophets. All right. The seals was sealed in Revelation 5. No man was going to be able to get it but Yahushua gave it to his elect in Revelation 14. All right. Ezekiel 3:17. The Lord said, I've made thee a watchman unto the children of Israel. Hear the word of my mouth and go and give them warning from me, man. So, hey, the words of the Lord was going to be made known unto you through what? His men, his prophets, man. But yet and still our people, they go and they put off from day to day from hearing the words of the prophets, man. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes it's, quote unquote, too scary for them to hear. All right, all these different things, but they want to be prolonged from these things. In fact, the guy that was up here earlier, this is what I was saying to him about, like, in these churches and things like that, they always want to hear these smooth things, man. They don't want to hear the truth about what's really going on. All right, it's like, well, how many people will want to go to the doctor and you severely overweight, your heart's about to fail and everything else like that? And who will want to really go to the doctor when you got your loved ones, your family, and everything else like that depending on you? You love your wife and your kids. Who will want to go to the doctor and have the doctor tell them, nope, you're perfectly fine, everything is okay. Just go on and live your life, keep doing whatever you're doing, and keep taking care of the way you're taking care of things, man. All right, knowing good and damn well 2 days from later, he going to wind up croaking of a heart attack, man. Who will want to go to that doctor, man? But hey, most people, they really live their life like that, man. They don't want to hear, look at the society and the times that we're living in now where you can't offend nobody over certain things, man. I seen a damn video of a chick talking about if you don't like fat people, you fat phobic. Like, what kind of shit is that? Oh, exercise is fat phobic because it's this, and that. Like, look, what about all that food that you eating, goddammit? What if that's the problem? You know what I'm saying? What if the discipline, going back into living after the flesh versus living after the spirit, man? You living after the flesh, you can't contain yourself. You have no discipline. You just constantly eating. You your worst enemy. Nobody else is against you but you. You against yourself, man. These are the demons that's on top of these minds of these people, man. Where the Lord gave them over to a delusion to believe a lie, man. These are the lies that they out here believing. Oh, I'm this and I'm that. I got these problems. I got these. Man, 9 times, a lot of the people that's walking around out here, man, your biggest enemy is yourself, man. Well, really, you got demons on you and you blinded by these things. But, now we coming into a time now where things is way more obvious. It's like you see people that's be bugged the hell out, man. Oh, they don't like me because I'm this, and that, especially like with the overweight stuff. Like, bro, you could change that. You the one over here just eating all goddamn day doing all these different things, man. All right, you the one that's over here, why don't you go and exercise? Oh, exercise is fat phobic and this and that. Or they don't want to hire me, or they don't want to date me because I'm fat. Any man that don't want to date me at this here size, they fat phobic and this. Nah, man. Wait a minute. But look, come on, man. We don't want nobody that's unhealthy like that. But then you think there's something wrong with those people because they don't want to accept you the way that you are. Hey, this is the same type of mindset that these people have with God, man. What kind of God wouldn't want this to happen? What kind of God wouldn't want that? What kind of God with this? What kind of God with that? Hey, but what kind of person, what kind of, quote unquote, what kind of servant are you of God that want to make God change his ways, man? All right, but hey, look, you can't really blame these people nowadays. They want the schools to change their policies to fit your narrative. All right, you got motherfucking little girls going to school talking about they identify as a cat. Now the school got to sit there and change up their policies to make this girl feel comfortable because she identifies as a cat and telling her, nah, man, you got mental problems, man. You need to go see a psychiatrist, man. All right, you got people over here thinking that they're being born in the wrong body and everything else like that, man. So now they got to be, readdressed as everything else like that, man. These people are delusional, man. But yeah, we the delusional ones because, hey, we telling you, hey, man, we was taken into captivity. They changed our names. We're actually the Israelites according to the scriptures. We fit all the prophecies. Oh, y'all this and y'all that. Y'all a cult. Y'all a hate group. Y'all made up this and y'all made up that. How come we can't identify as these folks, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, no, I'm what they call them, my pronouns, my pronouns that I identify as an Israelite. All right, from the tribe of Judah. That's what my personal pronouns are, and y'all gotta respect that, man. But see, we have a problem if we say these things, but then they can sit there and say, nah, I identify as a goddamn cat, or a Zer, or a Zim, or whatever. All these. We're not gonna get into that bullshit because, like I said, man, hey, man, their minds was given over to delusions, man, to straight demons, man. These people were demon infested out here, man. But yet and still, hey, we only out here for the elect, man. 2/3 of our people, they're not gonna get it, man. There's no point of wasting your time. Like your scripture say, don't be casting your pearls before swine. All they're gonna do is take it and go run it through the mud, man. All right, you can sit there and talk to them all day. All right, the longer you get into this truth, you know how to kind of skedaddle those people down the road. You can kind of like start off with the Clark Kent type thing. Just be like a sheep amongst wolves. No, we just out here, we're Christians, just out here reading the Bible and just move on along and everything else like that. And hopefully they're like, oh, okay, and just keep it moving because, they be thrown off by the garments. But then at the end all be all, man, hey, when they start, getting a little bit more into your business, let's just go into scriptures and start reading some scriptures. When you start reading the scriptures again, it's like a two-edged sword. They don't want to hear that, man, because they're really the ones that's the wolves trying to devour the sheep, man. All right, oh no, we're Christians as well too. Well, let's see how much of the Bible you really believe in. Nah, don't go in the book. Don't start reading the book. All right, well, I thought you was a Christian, man. I just wanted to read out the book that you say you believe in. Nah, I gotta go. But see, these are our people, man. This is why, hey, the condemnation is that the light is coming to the world. This is truth, all right, to expose all you damn devils. But yet and still, these devils don't want to be exposed, man. That's why they start freaking out like what was that? I don't know if it was Gremlins or whatever it was. One of them little things where it's like they can't be exposed to the daylight. They start bugging out and everything else like that, man. But hey, man, this is what it's like out here, man. All right, but these people, hey, especially 2/3 of our people, man, they're straight reprobates, man. All right, but let's continue on in that Proverbs 1 and 24 says, because I have called and you refused. Because I have called and you have refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. All right, and again, how's the Lord doing this? Through what? His prophets, man. Out on the highways and the byways, week in and week out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I give at least Esau credit. He'll come up and inquire, and maybe for his own little motive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure that this ain't no terrorist group or some hate speech group or whatever that these guys out here doing. Well, actually, I think he asked me if I was selling something at first, but like I said, he said he seen me up here week after week after week, a couple of weeks though, but and they'll come up here and inquire, but sometimes it's for their own agenda. You got to be wise. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? But hey, man, they'll come up here and somewhat inquire about what we got going on. But Jake will see you from a mile away and see you got the Bible in your hand, and they'll be like, nope, we're not going over there with that. Now, if we was actually out here like Muslims or some shit, man, Jake would probably be out here talking about some, what they be saying, I forgot the little words they be saying. They got a little terminology they be saying, and I'm not talking about those like Arab Muslims. I'm talking about like Farrakhan them Muslims, man. All right, if Jake loved being them damn Muslims for some odd reason, but hey, you know what I'm saying? It's again, it goes to show forth that the wicked's not gonna understand. The wicked are Esau and 2/3 of our people, man. If our gospel be hit, it's hit to those that are blinded, man. Those that are lost, man. All right, this wasn't for them from the jump street, man. So we're not out here to save everybody, man. We're only out here to feed the sheep of Israel, the elect, man. We're only out here to prophesy the words of the Lord, man. All right, this is the job of the prophets, man, just to say these things, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. All right, but at the end all be all, they're going to know. Matter of fact, let me come back to this and read this real quick. Just a real quick one. Man, I could have read that right here. Boom. We're not going to read that one. We're going to read this in Ezekiel 30, not 30, Ezekiel 2 and 5. Yeah. Let me start at 4. Let me start at 2 or 3. Let me just start at the top. The point I want to grab is in verse 5. All right. It says, and he said unto me, son of Ezekiel chapter 2 and 1. And he said unto me, son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me and set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel. All right, so hey, it's a clear cut. Like I said, when we go into these scriptures and we start reading out with the word, you know what I'm saying? People say, oh, it was sent to everybody. It's for everybody to hear. When we start reading these here scriptures, it's like, hey, it was say I was sent unto the house of Israel. Israel. We keep going into this here Israel. Wouldn't you think at a certain point in time you would try to seek out to find out who are the Israelites? All right, but yet and still, people can have, say the church, everybody it was given there. Show me where that is in the scriptures. You can say what you believe, but I can show you throughout the scriptures from the beginning to the end where that's contrary to that, man. But again, this here word is sharper than a two-edged sword, man. You start bringing out certain things, we go into these words, and then you just cut, man. All right, you put to naught, all right? But going back, Ezekiel 2 and 3. And he said unto me, son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me even unto this day, to this very day. For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahweh power. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. So, hey, whether they will hear this word or whether they'll forbear from hearing this here word, man, at the end all be all, they're going to know that a prophet had been among them. At the end all be all, they're going to know that somebody was telling them the truth. At the end all be all, they're going to, matter of fact, let's read that as well, too. They're going to know what we were saying was the truth, all right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. Let me start at verse 3. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 3 says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High and his lot among the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. So, hey, at the end all be all, man, when these people, they're going to know that a prophet had been among them. But they're going to have this old shit moment of like, damn, wait a minute. How is he numbered among the children of Israel? We fools counted his life as madness. We called him a bug out. We called him being off and everything else like that, man. But when these things come to pass, man, you know, and you know, like I was saying, speaking to this person the other day about a lot of these different things, you know, it's like, look, you know, they say a lot of these things are what they call seaspiracies and everything else like that, man. All these things are, oh, you just watching too much of this, you watching too much of that. You know, because we was starting to speak about that damn airport down in Denver. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, bro, like, they call it the New World Airport, man. They got all kind of Masonic. They got the heads. It's not like no conspiracy. They're like, this is a Masonic headstone. This is telling you what this here shit is about. You got the murals on the wall, paintings telling you what the hell is going on. This airport is in the middle of goddamn nowhere. The runways are in the shape of a goddamn swastika. You see it from the sky. Like, it's not hidden. But, and then I was watching a documentary on that. It was like people walking by, like, they asked, like, have you ever noticed the murals and everything? No, I wasn't even paying attention, man. There's people that be walking past certain things. Just think about how many times you took the same path to work every damn day and never noticed a certain store that was over there on the side. I didn't even know that store was over there the whole damn time. This store been over here in this here plaza the whole time. I never knew that store was right there, man. I never knew this was that. I never knew that was that. Never knew this was... You drive by things day in and day out, every day on your way to work and back home and be missing certain things. But how much more the things that's out here in plain sight. So there's things that's out here that people just are overlooking. That's not so-called hidden things, but people aren't looking for these things. So yet they think that, oh, these things aren't, you know, they're far-fetched when you bring them up to them, man. Why would they do this? Why would they do that? What kind of people would do this? What kind of people would do that, man? All right, you know, you have, you know, the event that, matter of fact, is almost a year to date. You know, that happened, what, in 2001, all right? You know, there's, in fact, like, this weekend is pretty much, you know, you get what I'm saying. It's almost an anniversary to that. They're going to be talking about that, you know, tomorrow, basically, right? But going into these things, man, you know, these people would still say, you know, what kind of people would do this, what kind of people would do that? Like, yo, you got a half of the picture, man. Well, let's go back into reality, what we talking about. We talking about people who worship Satan. All right, you know, these people that be doing these big, massive rituals and things like that, man, this demonic type stuff, things they doing to all these children. You just seen your boy, where his girlfriend just got locked up, but they said that he wound up dying in jail and everything, had his own island, his own plane. You see the type of shit these people getting caught doing, like, and you see the type of stuff that they got going on. You know what I'm saying? He's the king now over there, but his brother, all right, in England. You know what I'm saying? You see what his brother got ousted for doing, you know, being caught up in that same little ring. So it's not far-fetched that these people, or who these people are, and the things that they capable and willing to do, man. All right, but people forget about these things. This is why we have to marry this back with the scripture, man. Hey, remember, you looking at these people for this nation and that nation. These are the Edomites, the biblical Edomites, man. This is what these evil, wicked-ass people have been doing. Matter of fact, we're going to get into these damn Edomites real quick. Because, hey, our people seem to forget about these things and the things that's taking place with them, man. All right, well, why would they do these things? Why would they do these, such and on and so forth? Like I said, they got this event that's about to be a, what year was that? 2001. So almost like a 21-year year anniversary of these things that took place, you know, in certain places and stuff like that. And, you know, oh, man. That took place about 20-something years ago. I'm about to lose some pages. Salakia. But, you know, you ask yourself what kind of people would do these things, or, you know, with the stories surrounding these things, man. All right, you have to ask yourself, like, why would they do this? Why would they do that? Why would they lie about this? Why would they lie about that, man? you got to understand who you're dealing with, man. All right, this is Revelation 6 and verse 4. All right, Revelation 6 and 4. And it says, and there went out another horse, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him, all right, that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Now let's break this down real quick, according to scripture, man. All right. We'll grab a couple precepts. Oh wait, right here. This is the page right here. All right. So it says, going back, Revelation 6 and 4, and there went out another horse, and that horse is representing power. There went out another horse that was red. All right, so let's go into that. This is Genesis chapter 25. Let me get a little bit of this, a little bit of meat off of this. Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she said, and she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So, you know, going into his skin being, you know, lacking the melanin, all right, he was, you know, quote unquote, like they would say, albino, more or less to say, all right, wasted away as he. And after this came his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Let me jump down to verse 29. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom. All right, goes into red. His name was changed to Edom. All right, because he wanted that same red pottage, man. Hey, just like you go to the damn what they call the steakhouse, the Outback Steakhouse, right? Jake and Esau go in and sit down and order steak, man. How's Jake gonna want his steak? He gonna want his steak well done, medium well, looking just like him. How's Esau gonna want his steak? He gonna want his steak pink on both sides, man. He wants basically his steak to look like him. All right, red just like that. Well, I want the pink still in the middle and everything else like that, looking like just like his ass, man. All right, so his name was changed to Edom, which goes into red. All right, now when you even go into some of these people who now it's apparent that we can't even mention these people's names. All right, but like the most richest family that there is on the earth, man. All right, you know, who was originally called the Bowers. All right, come to find out that they had a name change before that, but nevertheless they changed their name from Bower, all right, to this other term, but it was basically means red shield. All right, but again, going back into who they are, man. All right, you know, so these are the same people, the same representation. All right, that his name was changed from wasted away as he to red. All right, so going back to Revelation, it says, Revelation 6:4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. All right, so he was going to take peace from the earth. This is Job chapter 9 and 24. And the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not wherein who is he? So, hey, the dominion of the earth was given unto him, man. And we can go back to, let's go back to that Genesis 25 and, or 27, Salakia. Genesis 27 and 30, oh, wrong page, 39. Well, let me start at 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So this is the blessing that Esau wanted from Isaac. Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. So, hey, his blessing was going to be that he was going to be given dominion over the earth. So going back to Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So if the earth was given to the possessions of the hands of the wicked, how do you think that they would run the earth? All right, going back to Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. So, hey, his blessing was going to have the rulership over the earth. All right, he was going to have the rulership over the earth. He was going to, and the wicked. Well, let me slow down. The wicked was going to give the rulership over the earth. And how do you think he was going to run the earth? And wickedness. And doing what? Taking peace from the earth. Right? Going back to Genesis 27 and verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live. All right? Now let's go back over to Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red, which we established was Esau Edom. And power was given to him that sat thereon. All right? The earth was given to the hand of the wicked. To take peace from the earth. And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, all right? And the scripture said that he was going to live by the sword. So he was going to take possession of the earth by way of what? The sword, man. Taking peace from the earth, man. This is Esau to a T, man. All right, let's continue reading in verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him. And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword. All right, same scenario. And with hunger. All right, and you know who owns up all the crops and everything else like that, the seeds of everything, you know, with their companies and big pharma and everything else like that. You can't own farms no more, but guess who is in control of all these things, man? You got to go to the one. You have to go to the enemy for the one of all things, man. You have to go to Esau for all these things, man. Esau is in control of all these different things, man. All right, it says to kill with the sword, hunger, and death, and with the beasts of the earth. All right, now who's in control of releasing all these plagues, pestilence, and these diseases running rampant on the earth, man? All right, all these different, how they say, carcinogens and cancers and things like that. Who's the one pushing and promoting all these different things, creating plastics and forever chemicals on the earth, man? Who's the one got chemtrails and everything in the plastic in the water and everything else like that, man? Who's got all these things that's going on in the earth and polluting the whole earth with all these things, man? All right, if it was another nation, please believe the Esau would be the first one to blame. Oh, see, the Chinese people is polluting our air over here, man. The Chinese people over here giving us plastic in our water over here. The Chinese, hey, man, if it was these other nations, Esau would be happy to go and blame this on these other nations, man. And hell, he would try to blame it on Jake if he could. But he know that people would be like, yo, but Jake ain't got no control over the waterways, over no fruits and no vegetables and the seeds of everything. No, man, it's Esau. Who the one keep getting caught with all these things, and their big companies keep getting ousted for doing all these crimes against humanity, man. This is Esau to a T, man. So we can go into the scriptures and we can see the types of people that we're dealing with. So whenever you say, oh, why would the government do these things? Well, who is the government, man? The government ain't a collection of buildings and things like that. The government is a collection of people. And who's predominantly all in the government, man? All right, you know, it's like, you know, people would say, oh, well, it ain't just all white people in the government. There's some black folks in there, too. All right, so let's switch it around, man. You got the hood right now. Pretty much every hood got that one white boy in the hood. Most time his nickname is White Boy. You know, Ghost, Milk, or some shit like that. You know, some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But pretty much every hood got a white boy in the hood that's, you know, it's a white boy from the hood, you know what I'm saying? He grew up in the hood and everything else like that, and he pretty much fit in the hood perfectly fine. Or the one white girl that grew up in the hood, you know, their family just live in the hood. But just because it's one white boy or one white girl that live in the hood, don't mean the whole hood is made up of predominantly white folks, man. Or vice versa. You may have one Jake that live off in the suburbs amongst all the Edomites and everything else like that. Now, is that a Jake neighborhood or an Edomite neighborhood where you got one Jake living with the Edomites out there, man? No, it's still an Edomite neighborhood, man. All right, you still living in the hood and shit like that when it's a bunch of Jakes living out there, but you got that one Edomite out there, man. So, hey, that hood is predominantly controlled by, or you got like gangs and stuff like that, man. You may have one white boy in the Crips or the Bloods and everything else like that, but hey, man, predominantly these are black gangs, man. So the same way with Esau, man. All right, his government is predominantly all Edomites, man. Their power structure is built up and made up of all these damn Edomites. But it doesn't mean just because they got one or two Jakes in there, well, see, it ain't all just these folks, this and that, man. Nah, they got some of these folks. It's one or two black folks, so you can't say all of them. Nah, man, this is that illusion that they give you these things, man. Part of his witchcraft so that you can't, quote unquote, put a finger on to these things, man. All right, but, you know, hey, this is Esau to a T, man. All right, these are the things that he would be doing. Like I said, or like the scriptures say, the word is sharper than any two-edged sword, man, piercing down to the bones into the marrow, man, separating them, man. All right, so, hey, man, separating the bullshit from the facts, man. At the end all, be all, man, these are the descriptions of what Esau would be doing, how he would be living, and the things that he would do onto the earth, man. And look around the whole earth right now. Why is everybody mourning, man? Why is everybody in this? Let's read this other precept real quick in Isaiah. This is oh, wrong. page. Isaiah 14 and 16. It says, "They that see thee shall nearly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness, that destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners?" Are not all these nations right now saying these things, mainly China and Ukraine, or China and Russia, you know what I'm saying, dealing with these scenarios, man, you know, like the Taiwan situation, all right, you know, you got Russia doing the same thing with the whole Ukraine situation and everything else like that going on, man. These nations are now looking at America like, yo, bro, you the one that's going around destroying the whole damn earth. You the one that's uprooting all these kings on the earth, man. You the one that's matter of fact, let's read that as well in Isaiah 14 and verse 9. It says, "Hell from beneath is moved, for to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations." Who's overthrowing all these other nations by way of the what? The sword, man. How you getting the dominion of the whole earth? By way of what? The sword. Now you got this situation with the queen and the king, right? She wanted passing out her son to become the king. They got him going all around the places, how they saying, basically becoming the king of all these different lands. They're not using those words, but they're saying being the, I think they use the term becoming the sovereign or the head of state. All right, they're using these terms, but in reality, he's becoming the king of all these different commonwealths, man. Everywhere where you see, you know, Queen Elizabeth on their dollar bills, like let's say for instance, Canada, I believe Jamaica's like that as well too. All right, but I know for a fact Canada's like that, and there's a lot of other nations as well like that, man. Hey, basically, he the king of Canada, man. All right, you know, she was the queen of Canada, he's the king of Canada now, man. So, who is you know, raised up all the kings from the earth, man? All right, raised up all these different sovereign leaders from their places, and they're now reigning over top of all these people, man. You can say, oh, these Europeans and this and that. No, man, they Edomites, man. Because before they was in Europe, man, hey, they go all the way back to what, the Caucasus Mountains. They came out, started conquering things, man. They came out and took over Spain. Hey, you had Jake that was in the Moors in Spain. First of all, we can go back to the Roman Empire, man. You had, you know, you had, I believe it was Japhet that was up in there to begin with, but then you had Esau that came and took over. But then you had, you know, the East and the Western Roman Empire. You had the Ottoman Empire. You had Esau taking over that. Then you had the Byzantine Empire, which Jake took over that, man. All right. Then after that, you know, you had Jacob in Spain and Portugal and things like that, man. But then you had like situations like what they call the sub-Saharan slave trade that was taking Jacob out of those places and those positions of power. All right, and letting Esau roll up in there. So then now what you would think of as the modern day Spaniards would be these Edomites, but in reality, hey, Jake was the Spaniards before the Edomites was, man. All right, Jake was over in England. Matter of fact, King James, who translated the Bible, man, was over there in the UK. He the one that united those kingdoms over there. He the one who came up with the quote unquote United Kingdom, man. Uniting basically what he was, you know, it was actually Jake that was ruling over in all those lands, Germany and all those places like that, man. He's the one who united all these things together, man. All right, but then what? They wound up taking him out of place and then replacing him and everything else like that, man. All right, the Queen of England and all them, they actually changed their last names, man. That's not, they're not who they say that they are, man. They go back a lot further than that, man. All right, when they had different names and everything else like that, but they've what? Covered all the faces of the judges thereof, man. All right, not just the saints and Yahushua and things like that, but all the Jake, man. They came and taken over all of our history and things like that and whitewashed those things. Hell, you know, most people don't believe those things. You can look in the book of Nature Knows No Color Line, but look here in America, man. They call these people that they tell you about these, they say you illegal immigrants, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff like that. Oh, y'all are illegal aliens and everything. We're Americans. We're the true Americans and everything else like that. But wait a minute. So let's say you was born today and you going back and trying to teach history. You would say what? The Americans fought the Americans for this here land? All right, or the Americans fought the Native Americans? Like, wait, what's the difference between a Native American and an American, man? All right, so they've changed these names. When they was coming over here, they wasn't calling themselves Americans. These Edomites wasn't calling themselves Americans. They was like these Europeans, these pilgrims, these settlers, all right, these colonizers came over. They went under many different names before now all of a sudden they call themselves Americans, man. But now they're still in the heritage and the history of these quote-unquote so-called Native Americans, man. Now they're telling, oh, no, we come from Indian descent and everything. How the hell y'all come from Indian descent? But then y'all came over to some y'all forefathers came and took this here land. If you was of Indian descent, you would be in captivity and subjection on them reservations, but it looked like you in position of power, man. So these are the ways that Esau comes and he whitewashes and cover, you know, we call it whitewashing, but in the scriptures they say covering the face of the judges thereof, man. All right, let me see if I can find this here precept. Hang on one second. Hang on. Oh, wait. All right. This is First Maccabees chapter 3. Hang on, I might want to read up a little bit more. First Maccabees, let me just start here, verse 45. 3 and 45. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness, and there was none of her children that went in or out of the sanctuary. Also was, and it's Salat. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness, and there was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold. All right, and again, let's not be simple about aliens. All right, aliens is like I said, the illegal aliens. All right, these foreigners. All right, these Edomites. All right, and aliens kept the stronghold, and the heathens had their habitations. Like, give me 1 second. Slovakia. Going back. First Maccabees 3 and 45. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness, and there was none of her children that went in or out. And the sanctuary was also trodden down, and aliens kept the stronghold, and the heathen had their habitation in that place. So, hey, you know, I can grab another precept on top of that. This is Ezekiel chapter 36. Oh. Ezekiel 36, I'm going to start at the top. Right? Ezekiel 36, in verse 1. Also, thou son of man. Wait a minute. Let me go back. Hang on. Let me go back since we're right here. Let's go Ezekiel 35. Start at verse 10. It says, we can read all of this, but Lord's will, we'll come back to that. Let me just, for this point, saying, you know, because going into, you know, the earth giving into their hand, all right, them coming over and whitewashing everything, changing up everything, changing the names of people, and moving people around on the globe, man. This is what Esau does, man. All right, you know, and you got these people that's, you know, like the king over there now that's ruling over all these different people, raising up the chief ones of the earth, overthrowing these governments and things like that, man. Hey, this is proof that this is Esau Edom, man. The earth was given into his hand. These are the things that he would do, man. Uprooting everybody from their rightful place of habitation. All right, and move. Hey, the scriptures say that Jake was oppressed. He oppressed a man even into his heritage, man. All right, and they said we was gonna discontinue from our heritage, man. Ezekiel 35 and let me just start at verse 9. It says, I will make thee a perpetual desolation. This is talking to Esau Edom. All right, let me start at verse 1. It says, moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee desolate. All right, most desolate. So this is talking to Mount Seir, who is Esau Edom. All right, going down to verse 9. I will make thee a perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and you shall know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast said, These two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it as if Yahweh was there. Now, which two nations are they talking about? Are they talking about, you know, well, you know, ultimately you would say like the house of Israel, but you have the nation of Israel, all right, the northern kingdom, you so-called Latinos and Native Americans, and then you have the nation of Judah, all right, or the kingdom of Judah, all right, which is the so-called Negro tribes, you know, Levi, Benjamin, and Judah, All right. So hey, these two nations are ours, man. These two people are ours, man. All right. And guess who you know, you go back and you find the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. Who is ruling over top of all of our people, man? All right. It says, because I said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine. Which two countries, man? All right. You got the land of Israel. All right. Because when you go back into the scriptures, man, you had the northern kingdom went into captivity first, right? Now the northern kingdom, matter of fact, come back to that. It's lucky. I'm trying not to lose this page. So right here. All right, so this is Second Ezra 13 and 39. And whereas thou hast saw that he gathered unto Salak, and whereas thou hast saw that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, these are the 10 tribes, all right, the northern kingdom, which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria had led away captive, and carried them over the waters, so they came into another land. So that's how, you know, northern kingdom went into captivity, right? It says, but they took this counsel among themselves, and that they should leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. That's another key indicator of where this here place was. All right, so hey, there's a place where never mankind dwelt. So they was the first people to come to this here land, right? It says, verse 42, and that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into the Euphrates by a narrow passage of the river. For the Most High showed them signs for them, and he held still the flood, and they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and that same region is called Osiris. So again, you know, that took them about a year and a half to get here, all right, on boat. And they dwelt there unto the latter time, and now when they begin to come, all right. And so going into they dwelt there to the latter time. So now when you go forward in the history, all right, with Columbus and them, they sailed over here. Now you go up and look up Christopher Columbus, or Christopher Colon, or whatever his name was, all right. And then you look up his interpreter that he had. His name was Luis de Torres. All right, and he was fluent. He was an Israelite, basically. All right, when you go into that, he understood how to speak Hebrew. All right, so why would Columbus bring a Hebrew speaking person with him if he was so-called going to find Asia? All right, he would have been too far in the damn water or too far in the journey to be going to Asia like that far, man. Would have took him a year and a half to get to Asia from where he was at. But nevertheless, he didn't bring no Asian-speaking people with him on the boat, man. Look it up. Luis Torres, he spoke a lot of different languages, but he didn't speak that language, man. All right, but nevertheless, he knew that he was going to go find Hebrews out there, man. All right, and there's even a movie that depicts that where they say that basically, you know, he followed Esdras, you know, or Ezra. I forgot how they pronounce it, Ezra or Esdras. It probably was Ezra. You know, they said they followed the prophet Ezra, you know, and they had this here place that they came to, right, which was America, man. So it said to the latter end to when they would come. So now the story of Columbus when they came was what? They came into what? The so-called new land, the new world. Where, you know, they said, and really when they came over here, who did they find over here? They only found one group of people, man. All right, you had multiple groups of people, but it was mainly just one group of people, man. And this one group of people, it's like, give me 1 second. This one group of people was basically Jake, man. All right, the Northern Kingdom, man. All right, and they was over here the whole time. And what did Esau say? It was like the so-called Native Americans that was over here that he found. All right. Give me 1 second. But nevertheless, hey, that's who he wanted to find over. Was the so-called Native Americans. All right, there wasn't a bunch of different groups of people and a bunch of different tribes and groups of people. Yeah, you had different smaller tribes amongst them. But hey, man, you had you know, like you go out into California and stuff like that, right? You got a bunch of different gangs out there, the Bloods, the Crips. You got a bunch of different blood gangs, a bunch of different Crip gangs. But look, the majority of all of them is all Jake Judah out there, man. All right, but they, different little quote unquote tribes, but hey, they all the same people basically, man. All right, and that's what they wound up finding out there and everything else. But look, when you fast forward until today, because see, Judah or the Northern Kingdom was taken into captivity first. All right, from 1611 to or not 1611, from 1492 up until like 1611. All right, the Northern Kingdom was going into captivity. So-called Latinos and Native Americans was put into captivity, put into slavery and everything else like that, man. All right, and then what? 1611 came on around, and that's when they started bringing Judah over here, man. All right, and so look, it said that Jacob and hang on one second. Let me hold that. So we can find this right here. It's like verse 30 or something like that. Jeremiah 50 and 33, for thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast and refused to let them go. So now again, if you know the history of what happened in the scriptures, all right, again, the Northern Kingdom went into captivity first. All right, and when you read the majority of the scriptures, they're not really on the scene. This is where they call the so-called lost tribes of Israel and everything else like that, man. And there's actually a natural, not a natural park, what do you call a park, like one of them nature preserve places type things like that. That's somewhere near to here. All right, and when you pull up to the front, they say it's the trail of the lost tribes, and they have a Native American Indian face, man. They tell you about all the Native Americans and things like that, but they call it the trail of the lost tribes, and that terminology is only referred to as one person, man, or one group of people, man. All right, the Israelites, man. All right, so nevertheless, hey, the Northern Kingdom was so-called MIA throughout the majority of the scriptures as time was going forth. And as you're really reading about the Southern Kingdom from, Babylon all the way through the Romans. All right, but the Northern Kingdom, they had, after their captivity, they came over to the Americas, man. Columbus only found pretty much one group of people that was over here, which was the Northern Kingdom, right? Then they brought Jake that was over here. Now, the only time Jake or Judah and Israel was oppressed together was in what? The land of Egypt, when they was basically born as a nation. 70 souls went down into Egypt, and then they came out as a small nation. That was the only time they was pretty much oppressed together at the same time, versus at this here point in time where we're being oppressed together now. So when you come up into this here landmass, you have what? I always say this, you have here in the Americas, North, Central, and South America, all right? You have, we'll say 2.5 people, all right? One person who is reigning over all the people over here is Esau Edom, from Canada all the way on down to South America, man. All right, these people that's in the positions of power, though they may look like the natives of these lands, all right, they've been mixed in with Esau, man. So the people that's in power over here, predominantly is all the, or in total is all the Edomites from, like I said, Canada all the way on down, and all the Americas, North, Central, and South America, man. All right, now the people that's so-called natives to these lands and everything else like that would be what? The Northern Kingdom, man. All right, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans, man. When you go from, again, Canada on down, there was the so-called Native Americans that was living from, North, Central, and South America, man. Then they brought what? Judah over here and mixed Judah into all these different places. Like Brazil has got the biggest bulk of you so-called Negroes on the cargo slave ships into Brazil, man. So it's not that you just came over to the United States of America, man. You came all through Central and South America, man. So to say, you have, 1.5 people, or with, almost 2 people. You got Esau and Jake. It's basically 2 people. But, you also got that other half, Northern and the Southern Kingdom, man. So, hey, this is the place where no man ever dwelt. But then when Esau came over here, who did he find? He found Jake that was over here, and it's still like that to the same day, man. So they said that these 2 countries and these 2 people were in our possession. Which 2 countries? Well, they took the land of Jerusalem in 70 AD from us, the Southern Kingdom and everything else like that, and they possess it even to this day, the land of Israel. All right, they got these Amalekites living over there even to the same very day today. All right, and then now look, you got the Americas. All right, because again, the Northern Kingdom had inhabited all of these, not islands, but all this here landmass from North, Central, and South America, man. All right, hey, but beyond, what they call North America, United States, and Canada, all right, everything else over here is all ran up by so-called Latinos, man, and Native Americans, man. So, and really, the United States and Canada was all predominantly, like how they would say, so-called Native Americans, more or less to say, Gad and Reuben and everything else like that. But, the other tribes was inhabited in Central and South America, man. All right, but, hey, this is the lands that Esau wound up taking, man. These are the lands that Esau pretty much oppressed us into, man. These are the lands that Esau wound up inhabiting, man. You know, they go into the quote unquote Native Americans. So whose land is this really? All right, and we was reading about how they said that the aliens, they waste our lands. All right, and the aliens dwelt there, man. What do they call Issachar and these other Latino tribes? Illegal aliens coming over here, man. All right, so the wicked has covered the faces of the judges thereof, man, taking all of our places and then changed and whitewashed everything, man. All right, iconoclasm. Going back to Ezekiel 35 and verse 10, it says, because thou hast said these two nations and these two people, because I have said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it as if Yahweh was there. All right. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will even do according to thy anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast showed out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. So, hey, man, you're going to know that we was the Lord's people when the Lord come and bring this here judgment down upon you. It says, and thou hast said, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid desolate, they are given to us to consume. All right, and that's another thing that they say, hey, man, you know, what was it called? Manifest destiny. All right, the Monroe Doctrine. All right, there's some other ones that they said too, but basically manifest destiny. God gave us this here land. God gave us, in reality, they're right. God did give them this here land, man. God told them that, let me read it real quick. This is, verse 60. Well, hang on, let me see. There's a certain verse, all right, let me start over here and I'll jump over. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49. It says, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. All right, and what is their main imagery that they put up is that eagle, man. All right, you know, you look at a lot of their different civilizations that they've had from, Germany, all the way up until now, man. Rome, all right, they use that damn eagle, man. All right, jumping over to verse 64, it says, and Yahweh will scatter thee from among all people from one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot rest, but Yahweh will give thee a trembling and sorrow of heart. All right. That's not quite what I was looking for. I was looking for something else. Hang on one second. Oh, matter of fact, I was already reading. Let's go back. Deuteronomy 28:49. I want to get to verse 50. All right. It says, Yahweh will bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land, and until thou beest destroyed. And also thou shalt not leave either corn, wine, oil, or increase of thy kine, or flock of thy sheep, till thou hast been destroyed. All right. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, and until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all the land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all the land, which Yahweh thy power has given thee. So yeah, it is, you know, you can say manifest destiny, you know, prophecy had to be fulfilled, whereas Esau was going to take us down, put us into captivity, but hey, at the same time, you're going to be judged, all right, for touching the apple of the Most High's eyes, man. You wasn't supposed to you wasn't supposed to you know, like it says, well, we can read it as well too, in their affliction that come to an end. All right. But I wanted to finish off on this here, the land taking, because we was speaking about this king over here. Let me get this lit back again. Talking about the king of how he's taking over these different lands. All right, give me 1 second. All right, but yeah, it was going into how you know, you got this guy that's over here taking a rulership or dominance over these different lands, and people don't even quite know about these things. Like, I thought that, you know, he was just gonna be the king of England. How come he's the king of Canada and all these other places, man? All right, going back to this Ezekiel 35 and 12, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, and they are given to us to consume. Thus with your mouth have you boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me, and I have heard them. All right, it's this, well, yeah. Thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make thee desolate. And as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee, and thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So Idumea is talking about Esau, all right, Mount Seir. Going into Ezekiel 36 and 1. It says, also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are in our possession. So again, going back into the strangers, the aliens being put into our land, our land is being laid void. What lands? All right, these two nations, man. All right, the land of Israel, all right, over in the Middle East, man. They've taken our land over there and they possessing it. And now they talking about they're struggling with the Palestinians to so-called fulfill prophecy, man. But neither one of those heathens is supposed to be in our, well, I just say they're not supposed to be in our land because, hey, we were cast out of our land for the time being, man. And the Lord said he was going to place us back into our lands, all right, in which they said that's them fitting the prophecy of going back over in 1948. But in reality, the Lord said when you get put back into your land, you're not going to learn war no more. You're going to be at peace. All right, you're not going to have these things going on no more. What have these people been over there doing from the time that they got over there, man? Wars, pestilence, and everything. Hey, the land is barren, man. All right, they don't have no real plants or anything else like that that's growing over there. They have to import all those things over there, man. All right, the water and everything has to be imported over there, man. All right. It says Ezekiel 36 and 2. Thus saith Yahweh power, because the enemy, all right, has said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are in our possession. And again, you know, the ancient high places. Look, again, from the antiquity, man. We was you know, after the Canaanites, you know, Joshua and Caleb, and them, we went over into the land of Israel, man. But now they're over there. They've sacked the temple for the last time. You know, they kicked us up out of there 70 A.D. We hadn't been over there since as a whole nation, man. All right, the Americas right here, where we at right now, man. All right, you have some of the they got their own lands like Mexico and Central South America, Ecuador, and all these different places. They got their own land, but guess what? They're being oppressed in their own lands by who? Esau, Edom, man. Venezuela, look at Venezuela, man. They in their own land, but guess who they being oppressed by? Esau, Edom, man. So, hey, our people are still in the captivity, even in some of them in their respective homes and in their different lands, man. Even though that you can say, oh well, you know, they got their own leader, in this place and that place. Hey, or hell, even if they are their own leaders, like you say Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela, but guess what? Who are they still being oppressed by over there, man? Are they able to live to the fullest of their extent over there? No, they've been in captivity under the rule of America, man. All right. It says, verse 3, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and ye are the infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh power to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, and to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken, which become a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea. All right, the Edomites is another, Idumea is another way of saying Edom. All right, it's a Greek way of saying that. And all Idumea, not some of them, not just the elites, but all of Idumea, man. That's another thing that these Edomites have to get through their mind, man. It's not just going to be a small portion of you just going to get a judgment. Oh, I'm just a, you know, they like to say these things, we can grab that as well. So let me finish this off. It says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart and despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. All right, so this is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse or not 24, Isaiah 14, Salakia, and verse 21. Isaiah 14 and verse 21. It says, because they said in all Idumea, all right, but Esau come out and say, oh, it wasn't me, it was my forefathers. I can't be blamed for what I wasn't even born when this was going on. None of you guys was ever put into captivity. None of you guys was ever, we wasn't around to put you guys into captivity with this and that. But hey, man, just think about how the things are set up nowadays, man. You're born into this here place, but because your parents was, welfare recipients and things like that, is talking to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Your parents was welfare recipients. You was growing up in the hood, all right, and certain things didn't happen. You didn't get a so-called great start. Same with a lot of these Edomites, man. Your grandfathers or whatever had a lot of money to pass down to your foreparents, or some decent amount of money, or at least a house that y'all was able to own and everything, where the majority of your income wasn't going to just putting a roof over your head. All right, your parents started out in a house that their parents left to them. All right, you was in a nice area, nice school, was getting this certain education, and when you were able to grow up and everything else like that, you had a decent start off in life, man. All right, so hey, that's just in 1 or 2 generations. So how much more, how this here whole place was taken, man. All right, you got Jake that's still suffering from what they call post-traumatic slave syndrome, man. All right, what they call that, Stockholm syndrome and all these different things, man. Bowing down to the other white meat and all these different things, these traumas and things that Jake is going over, man. So, hey, man, you can't just be like, oh, that wasn't me, that wasn't my forefathers. Hey, they said that well, what an asshole. But anyway, they got these folks that's, as a matter of fact, I can grab that as well, too, Job. This is Job 20 and 10. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. So, hey, his children are trying to seek to please the poor. Well, that wasn't us. We're sorry. Now, not to say that they're saying they're sorry, but some of the times things they try to get away from these things. But then some of it's like, oh, we got to so-called try to make these things right. But in reality, it's like, they say that. I heard somebody tell me something, oh, we got to wipe certain slates clean and just start all the way over. Like, nah, y'all done ran up the money, then took out, let's just say you took out all these loans and you started investing into some stuff, you started making profits, but you got this here loan you got to pay back. Let's just keep it simple, man, right? You done took out all this here money to start these businesses, loans to start these businesses. You got your business up and running, but you got this debt to pay back, man. Your business is making money, but now you want to reset the debt and everything else like that, clear out Jake debt. We'll clear out our debt as well. They in debt. They just got all this here debt. You clear them out, they still at zero. Or you clear out our debt, we just don't owe for this here business that we making money off of. So, hey, man, this is what they're kind of speaking on, man. But it's like I said, it's a two-edged sword, man. Their words were smoother than butter, but war was in their hearts, man. They're not really trying to seek to please the poor like that, man. All right, at the end all be all, yeah, they're going to be in a sense to where it's like, they're going to want to try to so-called repent in a sense of a way. You know what I'm saying? Just so that it wasn't me, it wasn't this, it wasn't that. But hey, their words were smoother than butter, but war was in their heart, man. They say these certain things, but they really mean something completely different, man. There's wickednesses in them, man. All right, that's why, like, whenever you see Esau trying to, the scripture say never trust thy enemy. Whenever you see Esau trying to give Jake something, man, a gift destroyed the heart, man. Ultimately, like the scriptures say, man, don't ever trust this damn devil, man, because at the end all be all, his wicked, it's not gonna go, as is wiping the glass, man. That rust is still gonna be there, man. All right, but let's read this in Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. All right, it says, we was just reading about how all Idumea, all right, in Ezekiel 36, even all Idumea that has appointed his land into his hands, man. All right, they said, that wasn't me, that was my forefathers, and this and that, and how can I be blamed for those things, man? What you fail to realize is that you are your forefathers, man. you are, you know, your parents and everything else like that, man. This is what you fail to understand. There's a thing called reincarnation, man. All right, we are our forefathers. How do you think? How fair is it for us to just be born in the captivity, man? What the hell was that all about, man? Like, how the fuck did I get born into captivity, man? I was just born here. I didn't deserve to be put in captivity. I'm a newborn fucking baby, man. All right. I don't know what the hell was going on, man. I didn't know what was going on. How are we being born as slaves? Well, your own people sold you into slavery. Well, after that generation died off, how come we still in slavery, man? We was born into this bitch, man. What's going on? See, they didn't want to hear all these things at that point in time. But, hey, same thing is going on now, man. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So, hey, man, prepare slaughter for their children, for the iniquities of their fathers, man. Oh, you can't blame me for what my fathers did. Well, hold up. Like I said, when we was in captivity, let's just say y'all took our foreparents into captivity, right? Then we was born into captivity. How come we were still slaves and not let go? Like, well, this here child ain't had nothing to do with none of this stuff. They was just born here, so they should be a free man. All right, we had, what, 400 years of this here shit like that, man. And we still in this here scenario, man. Like I said, man, hey, how come we not born, you know, our foreparents might have messed up their livelihoods, their economics, and, you know, had us, and we was in projects and in the slums and everything else like that. How come when we born, we not given an incentive, a voucher to move about the hoods and everything else like that? Well, hey, our foreparents messed up, but how come we held accountable to these things, man? How come when you're born into this here wealth and everything else like that, you can take advantage of what your parents wound up doing and everything else like that, and you're scot-free from their debts and everything? But for us, hey, man, we have to carry on our foreparents' debts, man. So, hey, you're not going to escape this here judgment, man. Though you try to seek it carefully with tears, there was no place of repentance that was found for you, man. All right? It says, Isaiah 14 and verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, all right, because they are their forefathers coming back in a reincarnation, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the world, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and the remnant and the son and the nephew, saith Yahweh. So, hey, that seed line, that male seed line of these Edomites is going to be cut off, all right, ultimately forever, man, for the things that they wound up doing, man. All right, they try to cut Jacob off and ultimately exterminate us. I mean, you've seen that with the time of Moses, the time of Yahweh, and even in the times that we're living in right about now, man. All these things are all, well, let's read it in the scripture. This is Revelation. Let me find it real quick. Revelation 18 and 4, it says, or the point is 5. Revelation 18 and 4 says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sin, that you receive not of her plagues. Now, this is not talking about, you know, if you would sit there and repent, if you would sit there and just become a Christian and call in the name of Jesus. Nah, man. First of all, it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. And who is the my people with that possessive? All right, who is the Lord's people first and foremost? All right, it's the Israelites. All right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But, hey, only the ones that will hearken. Who would be the ones that will hearken out of the Israelites, man? That would be you, the elect of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Not even all of them, man. All right, so at the end all be all, man, the Lord has his elect, man. All right, his elect would be, how do I say? They would be the ones that will hearken and come back to the law, statutes, commandments, man. They don't want to be partakers of the sin. They would arise ye and depart from out of this here place, man. Separate themselves from this here place, man. Like we read earlier, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. So hey, it's the same thing that's going on right about now, man. You know, these Edomites, man, they don't want to, you know, first of all, they can't repent. But even if they could repent, they wouldn't want to repent, man. They would not, you know, because they had to do what basically Moses did, man. Moses was second in charge over all of Egypt, man. All right, you know, or he was like, well, third in charge. He was raised as the Pharaoh's grandson. So, but nevertheless, you know, he had to basically turn down his position. You know what I'm saying? And well, really, actually, when the Pharaoh died, he was basically second in control over that. But nevertheless, you know, he turned down that position, all right, to be what? With his own people, man. Now, I don't want to be in the house of Pharaoh no more. I don't want to be of a royal state no more. I want to be down with the rest of these people, man. How many of these Edomites is willing to disown and dishonor their heritage and the things that they got going on to be part of Jake, man? You see some of them on a light level, they'll do it for a small point and moment of time. But, hey, man, it's like they say, everybody want to be a nigga until it's time to be a nigga, man. All right, until you see these things. That's why you see a lot of these Karens be bugging out whenever they be, you know, like the curse is starting to fall upon them, Deuteronomy 30 and 7. once these things start happening, man, a lot of these Karens start bugging out because they getting called out for their wickedness, man. So, hey, how many of these damn Edomites can actually take what it's like being a Jake out here, man? All right. Now, granted, you do have some people that look like Edomites that are actual Jakes, and they understand what it's like. But hey, man, it is what it is. All right. But hey, all these people, they want to try to how do I say, seek it carefully with tears and things like that. It's not gonna amount up to anything, man. All right. Though he sought it carefully with tears, there was no place of repentance found for him, man. All right. Their sins have. Well, let's keep reading. It says, Revelation 18:4 says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. All right, so hey, her sins have reached all the way unto heaven. All right, the cups are overflowing. All right, let me see. Man, I can read quite a bit of this, but let me start back over here and I'll jump back. Revelation 18 and 6. It says, reward her, no, 18 and 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. So let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 49. Start at verse 7. All right, I'm going to read quite a bit of this. Jeremiah 49 and 7. Concerning Edom, all right, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent, and their wisdom vanished? Now, Teman is going into what? Them Germans, man. All right, now, when you look at the Edomites, out of all the Edomites, the Germans was the smartest of all these people, man. All right, you know, throughout the time of Adolf Hitler, right, all the stuff that you see today and all the technology that you see today come from them niggas at that time period and everything else like that, man. All the technology that you have from the advanced, you know, like the fighter jets, like with the jet propulsion engines, they the ones created the jet engines, man. They the ones that created, like, beforehand, before World War II, all right, and really in World War II, the only people that had, like, what you call missiles, all right, ballistic missiles, where it was like a rocket-propelled missile, or rockets, was the Germans, man. All right, everybody else had free-fall bombs. They was flying over with their propeller planes. Watch the movie Red Tails, man. All right, you'll see in there, everybody else had propeller-driven airplanes. All right, the Germans was the only ones who had jet, like actual jet airplanes. All right, and they had what they called the Blitzkrieg. All right, where they were sitting over there shooting these rockets off. You had Wernher von Braun, right, which the Project Paperclip, you know, the Americans and the Russians split the scientists. This is why they had the two, well, ultimately it's for prophecy's sake, but this is why they the only two with the ones that produce nuclear missiles and things like that, man. All right, and then the intercontinental ballistic missiles, man, they're the forefront of those things. But when you look at, hell, even look at the cars, man, German engineering cars, Mercedes-Benz and BMWs. All right, these are at the top of the line of all these different things. The Volkswagen, all right, the Volkswagen was a car way ahead of its time, man. What is it, the Volkswagen Beetle, man? All right, you know, they was just way ahead of their time with certain things, man. The Autobahn and everything else that they had over there, man. Again, all the technology that we have today all stems and comes from over there. That was where all the predecessors, all we did was pretty much upgraded it, man. All right, but they're the ones that came up with all those things, man. The Germans, the Temanites, all right, damn near the smartest of the people on the earth. But look at them now, man. They're stuck in a quagmire over there where it's like, look, man, do we follow alongside with these Americans and go down a drain and lose everything? Or do we, turn on them and side with Russia, man? All right. But then you also see them decaying in a lot of other things. But, hey, out of all the damn Edomites, man, they was the, how do I say, the smartest of the bunch. All right. But it says there's no more wisdom in Teman. All right. It says, Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? As counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamities of Esau upon thee, upon him, in the time that I will visit. If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, If thieves by night, will they destroy till they had enough? But I have made Esau bare and uncovered his secret places, and he should not be able to hide himself. You know, and Obadiah goes into the same thing about, you know, making Esau bare. all right, made him small and despised among the nations, all right. So, hey, going into these things, man, how many of these different nations really want to be a part of Esau Edom right about now, man? You know, that's one of the so-called worst things that they can be called. So they say a so-called straight heterosexual white male, man, is the worst thing that you can be so-called called nowadays, because apparently that's the biggest threat amongst all things, man. You know, you have the people of the Mo community and everything else like that, getting mad at Esau and everything else like that. Hey, but really, ultimately, they're being called out. These other nations, these world leaders, the same thing is going on with them, man. Is this the man that destroyed the whole earth, man? This guy's the problem with all this. Even his own women are coming against him, man. Now, we don't like our men like that no more. We got to get away from them. Hey, the only people that's so-called seeking out these damn Edomite men is you damn nigga women, man. And it's funny because they being rejected. You know, you got this thing that I seen the other day about these so-called black women now mad that there was, I guess, this white dude who put up like a TikTok video that said he been to 50 different states or something like that, and went on a date with a woman from each of the 50 states or something like that. And they was like, well, I'm mad. They all got one thing in common. They all white women and everything. They ain't got not one black woman on there. How come they don't like black women? They must be racist or something like that. It's like, wait a minute. I thought you nigga women could go, y'all so-called divesting and leaving the so-called black man, and y'all can go find y'all any kind of other man, and y'all seeing y'all can't even go find a damn so-called white man. I thought black men was so-called down and dusty, but you trying to go get with a damn Edomite man. You the only one seeking an Edomite man. You know what I'm saying? Yet, lo and behold, he don't even want your ass, man. All right, their own women is walking away from those things, man. So, hey, you know, Eve is just bugged out right now, but nevertheless, man, hey, this is the worst thing that you could be called, man. He's being made small among the heathen, man. Even on the world stage, man, these people are calling out America, man. All right, saying they need to back away and divest from these Americans and things like that, man. Move our money supply away from these here places. Move our militaries and our viewpoints and our alignments away from them, man. They all bringing us down, man. All right, they're on a sinking ship, and hey, everything is going to sink alongside with them. All right. It says, verse 10, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. And a lot of these things, these whistleblowers and things that's coming out about Esau and these things, again, look at the, you know, the Epsteins, the, what's that man name? The Weinsteins, the Epsteins, the Goldbergs. These folks, they got it to the point now where they have a war on these conspiracies, and you can't talk about these families no more because there's so much wickedness coming out upon these people that you can't even speak about these things no more without them cutting your videos, man. Oh, they talking about this, they talking about that, they talking about this stuff in the Biden and his son and their laptop and the things going on. You can't talk about these folks no more because all their wickedness is coming out, man. They're being made bare, man. It's like you lifting up a woman's skirt and you can see all her goodies, man. This is what's going on with Esau, man. You being put to a shame out here, man. You got all this stuff. You spend all this money and media to demonize Jake, man. All these niggas out here, drug dealers and gangbangers and everything. Talking about how much drugs we own and how much drugs we be selling, and you get caught up over in Afghanistan with the opioid crisis and things like that. Really, it's your people that's on all the opioids. And it was your people that was over there harboring those fields of the poppy plant, man, to bring all that stuff back, man. You go over there talking about some of the cartels and El Chapo and everything, and come to find out, well, he was being put up in place by your own government, man, being able to do all these things. Go back to the freeway Ricky Ross, man, and the Iran-Contras, man. Talking about some black folks was the #1 dealer in crack cocaine, the #1 enemy to our country, and we got to just say no. But it was y'all that was financing all these things. It was y'all that brought these things to our neighborhoods, man. It was y'all that brought all these stuff to the streets, man. But yet and still, you know, you try to blame folks over there for different viruses going viral and everything else like that. Then now all of a sudden, you are getting found out that these was your little chemical labs and everything else like that, man. All right, you the one getting found out about all these different things and getting made bare, man. You just like a clumsy ass person. They just keep getting exposed on every side, man. So now we're at the point in time where, like the scriptures say, that the son of perdition, the wicked gonna be revealed, the son of perdition, man. All right, where the wicked is being consumed by the Lord's mouth. All right, the prophets out here exposing you to the point now where everybody's got all eyes on you, man. Looking at you like, look at this damn devil right here, man. All right, you even got, you know, I was hearing about this comedian Gary Owen, who is pretty much he looked like an Edomite comedian, right? But you know, he really got a lot of favor with Jake, man. All right, he's a comedian, do a lot of jokes, and you know, he was married to a so-called black woman and everything else like that. Talking about his divorce, and the thing he kept talking about, what was hurting him was like, man, I just don't want to go everywhere. And they keep calling me a dusty, dirty white devil and white devil and white devil. All these different things he kept saying about that. And that was what was really hurting him and everything else like that. But like, where do you think these terminologies and things like that come from, man? All right, but you know, that 9 times out of 10, that's a Jake. You just got to see his swag and everything else like that. But nevertheless, but the point is that these things is these vibrations, these talking points, and these things is going out throughout the whole earth, man. Where do you think that these things stem from, man? All right, it's not that they just you know, Esau decided to just, I mean, now you do have his own tongue coming down upon him, but really ultimately Jake is the one that's putting these things out there, man. People used to get tired of hearing us talk about these things, talk about we were racist and everything else like that. Now guess what? The same people used to call us racist and hate groups and things like that are the same people that's over here pushing this in the media. They're pushing this in their schools and educations and all these different things, or the oppressor and these folks and the colonizers and all these folks is doing all of this and doing all of that. Hey, right now, what you got the king that's over there coming around taking claim to all his different lands and everything else like that. Hey, there's part of the backlash talking about some y'all are colonizers, y'all taking us into captivity and everything. Hey, who was talking about captivity before us, man? Who was talking about being put into slavery and everything before us? Who was talking about, quote unquote, you know, not using their words, but you know, like the scripture say in Isaiah 60, you know, about give me 1 second. I claim Isaiah 60 as far as being the reparations chapter. You know, the Lord said, hey, for wood I'm gonna give you silver. You know, for silver I'm gonna give you gold and things like that. You know, the gates gonna be open continuously, that they're gonna bring the heathens unto you and all their resources, their sons and their daughters, their gold and everything to you. All right, we've been bringing these things out, man. All right, and then now all of a sudden you have these people talking about some you know, reparations and everything else like that, man. So hey, man, who was putting out this here vibration on the earth, man? All right, it was Jake, man, the prophets, man. All right, exposing who? Esau, Edom, man. So now he can't hide himself no more, man. Now he's being made small among the heathen, greatly despised among these heathen out here, man. Now it's hard for him to go around and do anything on the earth because he started doing it. Oh, here go the colonizer. He always got to come over here and tell us what to do and everything else like that. Now, when they talk about all this misogyny or whatever they call it, it ain't misogyny. It's the patriarchy or whatever the hell these women be complaining about. Hey, they talking about Esau when they talking about those things, because Jake ain't really been in no position of power to do none of this stuff to them, man. You know, now these black women, they love to just parrot stupid shit. But it's like, yo, we've never been in no positions to oppress y'all. We was always at the goddamn bottom. The hell? It's like me being in prison and imprisoning somebody in prison. Like, motherfucker, I'm in jail. How the fuck I'm gonna throw you in prison? I ain't the one to be able to pin a case on you, bro. I'm right here in fucking prison, man. What the fuck I did to you? Like, whatever. But a lot of these things is really what Esau's doing, man. All right, but yet, you know, the nigga woman and our people, they don't know how to focus their hatred amongst Esau, man. You know, I was seeing this video. This is Jake to be trying to pander to Esau, trying to feel comfortable around them, and you know that's another thing that's wrong with our people. But I see this mainly with the Northern Kingdom. You know, their hatred towards Jake and things like that. You know, it's because you know they've been oppressed by Esau as well as us. But the difference between us and them is like when we don't like them, it's because of things they've done to us, and it's the reactions to how they've treated us. They don't like us because they feel like if they side closer to the oppressor, then they'll be accepted by the oppressor. You'll see a lot of these Edomites be trying to be accepted by the oppressor by claiming to be them and everything else like that. They'll say like, oh, let's purify the race or something, La Raza, and everything else like that, get closer to the white man and everything else like that. They don't want to come to their own place of being, but they'll try to, you know, how do I say, identify more with the so-called white man. In reality, like I was saying, hey man, we didn't come over here and take your goddamn country from you, man. We're not oppressing you in your country. We didn't make your country poor or anything else like that, man. We brought over in captivity. Why the hell are you trying to walk hand in hand with the person who did these things unto you, man? You know what I'm saying? And our women do the same thing too, man. Like, we didn't destroy the whole neighborhoods and the households and everything else like that, man. They say all these different things. Oh, I don't need no man. I'm strong and independent. But then when all these things go wrong, they go blame, where was his father at? Where was this and that going on at, man? Oh, how come all these men out here on a DL and everything else like that, and all these women is all masculine and everything else like that? Hey, well, where was their father at? If they had a real man in the household, it wouldn't be like this, man. But we know that y'all done kicked them out. But see, y'all trying to side with the oppressor more than what it really is, man. But hey, man, the Most High, he got y'all number for all these things, man. All right, because hey, man, the Israelite man is gonna be like the scriptures say, I will make him more precious than a fine golden wedge of Ophir. All right, you know, and 7 women gonna come to that man for to take away their reproach, man. And real soon the Lord is gonna even all these things out, man. All right, but not too far getting off topic, but you know, I just want to speak on some of those things. But going back to this here, Esau being called out, 49, Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau barren and uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren are neighbor, and his neighbors, and he is not. And it's another thing that you have going on into these things. You know, when they talk about these abortion situations and all these things, again, you have to understand what propaganda is, man. First, in one note, they telling you that you know, that the Earth is overpopulated. You know, when they say overpopulated, you have to ask yourself, who is saying that the Earth is overpopulated, and who are they saying is overpopulating the Earth, right? Because you know that'll answer the question. Well, Esau is saying the Earth is overpopulated, which you, from his perspective, you heathens, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the rest of these other nations, man. He's saying that y'all are overpopulating the Earth, man. Because you think about it in a scenario like this, man. All right, look at America's population, 330 million people versus China's population, like damn near 1 point something billion people, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, their population is 4 times bigger than our population. So, are they overpopulated or are we overpopulated? They were like, well, they overpopulated, man. All right, so, hey, in a whole, Esau's the one that's always telling you that the earth is overpopulated, man. All right, and when he's looking at who's overpopulating, because they say, hey, like, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all start popping out babies at the age of 14 and shit. Then y'all have about some Jakes might have 4 or 5 baby mamas. These Jake women might have 5 or 6 baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got like 5 or 6 kids apiece, right? But then all of a sudden Esau barely got 1 or 2 kids, man. All right, so are they overpopulating or are we overpopulating? Or from their perspective, right? They would say, oh, we're overpopulating and everything else like that. But then they say that they don't have a population growth. Their population is staggering and things like that. Well, again, who is saying that and who are they saying it about? These Edomites, man. You go look into their average household, you know, you see Edomites become old-ass people and don't ever have no damn kids, man. You know, there's a old lady that I know that pretty much, she might have passed away by now, but they were saying that how she's 80-something years old and never had no kids, and when she died, her shit going all back to the state. You know what I'm saying? The old Edomite woman. How many Jakes you know get to that age ain't never had no damn kids, man? All right, but hey, this is again part of Esau and his little lies and everything else like that, man. All right, but now the Most High is making him bare and cutting him off, man. All right, and making it into his seed, man. This is why you start to see a lot of these Edomites and stuff like that with their movements trying to have babies at a later time, or it's harder for them to have kids and things, becoming infertile and everything else like that, man. Now when they talk about this Roe v. Wade type thing about these abortions and things, the real thing behind that is, it's not the fact. Look, think about the Georgia Guidestones, man. They trying to do population reduction, so they all for churning out all you goddamn Jake babies and killing off all you nigga babies and everything. They don't have a problem with mass murdering y'all off. They do this day in and day out with the drugs, the guns, the violence, and everything else. They trying to protect their people, man. They getting tired of their women. You know, now the spirit is put on to them to go in and start getting rid of their children. Whether it's we want to wait till later on in life to have our babies, we want to go and be single and independent. They don't need no man, and all these things. The curse that was upon us is now falling upon them. So now they trying to wait till a way later age to have babies. Now they having kids with all kind of autisms and everything else like that. Now they not having all these healthy babies to replace all their things, man. All right, and then a lot of the babies that they are having is what, marrying into these marrying with these Jake men, man, having Jake babies. So guess what? Their inheritance is now going over to Jakes, man. All right, so hey, this is all prophecy being fulfilled. It said, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, all right? His seed is spoiled, man. It's no longer flourishing. And his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Leave thy fatherless children, and I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. You know, talking about Esau, Edom, man. All right, you know, we had, as the Israelites, the Most High's people, the righteous seed, we had to drink of the cup of our punishment, man. We had to pay for our judgments and everything else that we wound up doing in wickedness, man. So you think you're going to just escape judgment, man? You think you're going to turn the whole earth upside down and destroy the whole earth and get away with those things, man? All right. Let me see. Going back into, hang on. Found this. Done for over there. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 18, Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry in the wrath that's come, and at the time of the dead that they should be judged, and thou should give its reward unto the servants thy prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. So, hey, man, you think you're going to go unpunished for all these different things that you've wound up doing, man? All right, nah, man, you've destroyed the whole earth, and now you're about to be repaid, be recompensed for these things. It says, that's pretty much all I wanted to read there, going into, let me read that verse 12 again. It says, for thus saith Yahweh power, behold, those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken, and thou art he that shall altogether go unpunished. Shalt thou not go unpunished? Salat. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. All right, and so, hey, this is going, well, let me read the next verse. For I have sworn by myself, saith Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof a perpetual waste. All right. Well, let me keep reading on down. For I've heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador that sent among the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her, and rise up to battle. For lo, I have made thee small among the heathen, and despised among men. All right, going back into that Obadiah, which in fact you read the next couple verses, same thing of Obadiah. All right, but going back into these things, man. Hey, man, the Lord has made thee small among the heathen, man. All right, made you greatly despised and cut you off, man. All right, so going back into Revelation 14, no, Revelation 18, Salakia. Revelation 18 and 5, it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she had rewarded you. Double unto her according to her works, and the cup which she had filled to her double. So, hey, you think you're going to go, you're going to have to fill up this here cup with all this here wickedness and not have to drink thereof? Hey, we had to drink of that damn cup. We filled up our cup with our wickedness, and the Most High said, all right, enough is enough. Now you got to pay for your fines, your crimes, man. You done went to an all-you-can-eat buffet or a restaurant, and you done ordered up all this here food. Now the tab is coming. You think you're going to just be able to walk out and not pay for these things, man? Nah, man, you have to pay for all these things, man. And this is the time where you're, you've got to the end of the road, and now it's time for you to pay for these things, man. All right, it says, reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her double, according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I am a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. So they think that they're gonna just keep going on forever, man. Hey, this is it. We're the pinnacle of the top of the tops, man. All right, I was speaking again with somebody the other day, and they was talking because they don't understand the scriptures and these things, man. All right, they said that, hey, man, it would be a hell on earth for them if they was to go off into these bunkers and create a world war on the earth and nuke the whole earth and kill off all these people. Like, hey, they talking about population reduction. Well, they would have a hard time. It would be worse for them because, yeah, they're the elites and they got all us as slaves and everything. Then they're going to have to come out the bunkers and rebuild the whole earth themselves. I'm like, yeah, but you see, you don't have a fuller understanding. See, they think that in their minds, they're going to go on forever. They're going to sit as a queen and not be a widow. They got AI technology. In their ways, they can have the robots to rebuild everything for them, man. They got the technology, perfected to the point to where they don't need none of us. They got automation on everything nowadays, man. So, hey, in their minds, the part of their heart has deceived them. Hey, we can get rid of everybody now, and we can have, hey, I could be the Most High. I've recreated artificial intelligence, man. AI, robots, and everything else like that. I've created man in my own image, the way I want them to be. I've programmed them the way I want them to be, and they can go out and go do all these things for us, man. But at the end all be all, man, hey, the Most High have deceived them, man. All right? The part of their heart has deceived them, man. All right? But look, they're going to ultimately have to come up against the Lord, man. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh who judges her. So ultimately, the Most High is going to bring these thermonuclear missiles down upon Babylon the Great, man, on these Edomites, man, put them into captivity, man, for all the wickedness that they've wound up doing on this earth, man. They're not going to go unpunished for the things that they've done, man. They've taken our land, they've taken peace from the earth, all right, and oppressed us even into our heritage, made us discontinue from our heritage, man. Put hell on not just the saints, but on the whole earth, man. The earth itself, man. The animals, the air, and everything, man. To the point where everything is to its boiling points, man. The whole earth is out of whack, and out of matter of fact, I'll close out with this. Matthew 24 and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So, hey, everything is out of whack. Everything is out of control. Everything is turned upside down, man. Everything is to the point of, you know, the earth is reeling to and fro. They say, what they call it, climate control or global warming type scenario is going on and everything else like that, because of all this oil drilling, all right, all the different things, the spraying of the stuff into the air and everything else like that. All these different things that Esau got going on is turning the whole earth out of whack, man. The minds of these people got them so distraught to the point to where, you know, you don't know what the truth is or the lie, man. You can't even speak a truth no more, man. You can only you know, they say, we got a war on this here, you know, an info war basically. So like, if you talk about certain things, you bring out the truth, then that's actually, you know, quote unquote hate speech, man. All right, well, we gotta have the ministry of truth nowadays and everything else like that. But hey, all these things are coming to pass as far as you know, Esau being revealed, man. All right, you know, wickedness is fully exceeded throughout the earth, and now it's time for truth to start budding on the earth, man. It says, Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. So, hey, you know, again, at the point in time that we're living in now, you know, that these days have to be shortened because, again, like how I said, everything is all turned upside down. You have places like in Michigan where the water is undrinkable. For how long is that going to be, man? How long are you going to just keep polluting these people over and over and over again to what happens, man? You got, quote-unquote, bizarre weather effects that's only getting worse and worse on the earth until what end? You got wars and rumors of wars. They're talking about, oh, the Russian war conflict might be slowing down and turning on the side with Russia. Like, Russia ain't really brought out none of the big guns yet, man. And you think that they're going to just go and lose in Ukraine, and then what? Just, you know what, we ain't never used the nukes. We never going to use the nukes. We're going to just capitulate, and that's just it. No, man. It's going to get to a point in time where everything's going to be pretty much to its end, all right, to its boiling point, man. That's when the Lord is going to have to, for the elect's sake, those days are going to have to be shortened, and the elect's going to be delivered up out of here, man. All right, but all these things are coming to an end. All right, and our jobs is to do what? To go out and warn you, man, to measure the times diligently in itself, man. Come out and tell our people, you know, repent, for the day of the Lord is at hand, man. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord will and the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and our well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.